Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable, let's get down conversation.
Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel that's here. And Portia will be on later in the next 30 minutes or so. But we got Quan.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Cool. I did. This wasn't planned.
This wasn't planned at all. It really was not planned.
It just was the spirit of fraternity.
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. All right, man. So first and foremost, you know how we already do it, man. Let's start off the right way. Anything band, music, education wise that you have been privy to in this past week. This is your time to go ahead and let it go. You got it, bro.
Honestly, I didn't really look at anything. I've been our homecoming show is coming up October 7th. So I've really been focusing on that. We've been blessed. We have a area that was striped. So we finally got a practice field. We haven't had one in like almost 10 years, 10 plus years. So we've been focusing on our drill and, putting W's on the field and all that good stuff. So I haven't really seen anything thus far.
Man, congratulations to you. I don't know if you heard it or not, but the applause was definitely going off in the background. So, but yeah, long time coming, but well deserved and well needed. So yeah, congratulations to you. I know that I did watch a lot of band stuff this past week. I watched a lot of it. I guess the thing for me is the fact that I just don't remember any of it.
So it wasn't memorable. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. And I mean, and that's no slight to nobody, but I'm just saying, like, for me, it just, like, I watched it and it was cool, but then I was like, man, and honestly, I came up with a really weird conclusion, and I ended up calling Rick about it, and it really, I didn't call Rick about the conclusion I came up with, but he ended up saying the same thing that I was thinking in the conversation, and we'll get to that in a second. But no, I watched a lot of band. I ended up watching a lot of old band. So like I watched the infamous 2015 Prairie View Alcorn Battle in the Rain. I watched that battle.
Good battle.
I went back and I watched Fam, because I think Fam performed this past weekend, I believe so. I watched Fam, but then I watched the old Fam video too, and then I went back and watched Southwest DeKalb. It was Southwest DeKalb, the Southwest DeKalb versus Willow Ridge joint. So I watched that, and then I watched like a more recent Southwest DeKalb thing. It was really frustrating to watch that, because looking at Southwest DeKalb and what they used to be, looking at the Ridge and what we used to be, and then looking at those two programs now, is just, I don't know, it's just really frustrating. Begs a lot of questions. So yeah. And yeah, A&T. I watched the A&T show. So yeah, I watched a lot of stuff. Yeah.
You jogged my memory. I know what I watched. I watched Norfolk. I did.
Yeah.
I watched Norfolk.
that's how I ended up going back in time and watching a bunch of stuff because Norfolk was playing some school, but nobody was at the game.
Right. I thought it was like an exhibition. It was like St. Francis or something, like some crazy thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing about it is, I think that social media has really taken things, to another completely different level. Because the game that I was watching, well, I watched that game, but then I went back and watched my freshman year at Norfolk, us and Morris Brown. And if you go back and look at that game, well, nobody at that game either. But because of the fact that it wasn't social media and it wasn't publicized and things like that, it just wasn't that big of a deal. But nobody was at that Morris Brown game like that because we had the battle the night before.
Right.
So I forgot about the Norfolk game. So yeah. So what'd you think about the Norfolk game? There we go. Yeah.
Man, so I must say Norfolk is really clean. Like they're like just really clean. I'm not gonna say I've never heard a band that clean, but like they're just really clean. Like even like their dance routine, it's like everything is straight, cookie cutter, clean, and I appreciate that. Like it's like very very clean. I really appreciate them. And honestly, before you and I got this close, I didn't really too much pay attention to Norfolk. Of course, Norfolk was on everybody's radar from that Honda, but like consistently, bro, Norfolk is maintained their sound. Now, I must say, compare them, like you say, comparing groups, that '07 group, that just was an aggressive group. Like, like y'all say, y'all had something to prove, and y'all proved it. But '09 is my favorite year for Norfolk.
I mean, everybody says that '09. I mean, even I said '09 was a different year. That '07 year. I mean, you bring that up, but I didn't even march that year, so that was after I was done, done. But I mean, the one thing that you're gonna always get from Norfolk is they're always gonna be clean. We spent a lot of time in the band room and working out a lot of those little minute and small details, and so because of that, I mean that's the product that you get, and it's still ever present today. So, I'm 100%. I agree with you. I don't disagree at all. But another thing today, that has absolutely nothing to do with band. Today is my anniversary. Um, well, so me and my wife, we celebrate both anniversaries, right? So like we definitely celebrate the wedding anniversary, but we celebrate the anniversary of the day we started dating, because that actually puts the timestamp on how long we've been together. So today marks 17 years of me and my old lady.
Hey,
I mean, I've never called her my old lady, but that's the first time. It feels weird doing that. I'll probably never do that again.
you
But
from New Orleans now? You from New Orleans?
I'm old lady. But yeah, man.
That's your little yang.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, man. 17 years today, and it's been a heck of a journey. I pray to God for 17 more years.
Amen.
17 plus. So, but yeah. So, I mean, the funny thing is, and I was just talking to her today. Like, I think me and her have never celebrated it. Like, in a sense of like me and her going off and just me and her celebrating it. Like, we only remember one time celebrating, and it was like me and my daughter and like my adopted daughter, and we were all out. But like, I was always working during that time because it's always during band season. So we never just had a chance to like go and celebrate it. So, but it is what it is. 17 years. I'm glad to have had all the ups, downs, and headaches. So there it is. All right. Let's move forward. And honestly, a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today is going to directly tie into the reason why some things just weren't memorable. But we gotta clear some elephants in the room. So let's start all the way from the top. So let me hit the record button because I want to do it the right way. Here we go. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU, band culture, music, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy now, so you ain't got to worry about it later. If you go ahead and hit it now, you don't got to worry about it later. If you give us a thumbs down, I'm not even going to be mad with you, but just go ahead and give us something. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on your notifications. This episode will be up on all of your podcasts and networks. Just make sure you type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk, and it should come right up for you. All right. Also, make sure that you go ahead and check out that Patreon. We're going to get you right on that Patreon. All right. All right. So, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. On last week, we started the conversation talking about the young lady from USC, and I don't even think you had tapped in at that time we were talking about her. But we started talking about that, and we gave our opinions and thoughts on that, which at that time we had kind of cleared the air. Everything was kind of done. We had moved forward amicably, and everybody had their thoughts, and which was cool. But more recently, a lot of people have been, more recently, they were on the Jennifer Hudson show.
Sure.
Which, first of all, when the heck did Jennifer Hudson get a show? When did this
happen? I didn't know. This
is out of nowhere. Like, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know if they're grooming her to be the next Oprah. I don't know, but that was random. I just never knew she had a show. But anyway, so she was on the show, or they were on the show, and I saw the clip, and then I started looking and perusing, and everybody was passing the clip around, and the conversation came back up again, and a lot of people were saying, well, I knew this was going to happen, blah 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 blah. But then within the interview, the young lady said something very interesting that really stood out to a lot of people, and I'm not gonna say it verbatim, but I'm gonna try to paraphrase it the best I can. She said something to the degree of young ladies who look like her have not been able to see that kind of dancing or be around that kind of dancing. It was something to that nature. And maybe somebody in the comment section will give me the word for word, statement of what she said, but it got a lot of people triggered, and it brought the conversation back up again. And I felt like we needed to truly have this conversation. And I saw one of my former students who posted something, and I want to try to bring it up and see if I can give his actual statement, because I want to make sure I get it right. So he says PWI is doing fifths, USC starting an HBCU style dance team that went viral. Yeah, might as well say they're taking over a culture we worked really hard for. So that was his post, and so I find it very interesting that these things are happening, and I'm not going to say that this is the first time that anything like this has happened. Be quiet. All right. But I said be quiet. Anyway, but we gotta go ahead and get into this. So first question on the table, and me and you gonna go back and forth, and when Portia comes in, I'm pretty sure she's gonna have a lot to say about it. So I want to make sure I give her time on that. She might go in. So here's the first question: are we afraid of our HBCU band culture being stolen or heavily borrowed in the next generation? Are we afraid of our HBCU band culture being stolen or heavily borrowed in the next generation? Quan, you go first.
I don't think afraid, but I think we need to do a better job of protecting it. When you really break down this question, I guess my answer will come from this point of view. What's ours, and what truly can we say this is ours? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to start at the portion of at the inaugural years of Dr. William P. Foster? Are we going to start there and then go forward? But if we're going to be honest, a lot of it is being borrowed now, from the necks and, different things like that. but vice versa, things of that nature. But I'm gonna be honest with you. For me, it's music, and I don't feel like anyone can own it. I don't think anyone can own it. Um, I don't think anyone can own a culture. Just because Eminem is a great rapper, that doesn't mean he owns hip hop or he owns rap. He doesn't. He's a part of it that influenced it to others. Um, but this question is hard for me because if you look at every other culture, they have something specifically that's attached to them that they protect. Prime example, there is such thing as a Chinatown. There is a such thing as I know in Houston we have the Mahatma Gandhi district, right? We don't have an African town or a Nigerian town. We don't have that. But I do believe African Americans, we influence the masses and we influence the world. But we're also freely giving to everybody. But when it comes to band, I'm gonna be honest, and I hate to ask a question with a question, but what would you say we owned in regards of our Black HBCU band culture? What is it that we own, Julie?
So and I'm glad you asked that, because see, you got to remember when I ask these questions, I ask these questions to actually get an answer. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, I think that goes back to, once again, the conversation that we had a long time ago. What is culture? What is the culture that we establish, right? Like, my culture may be different from your culture. My idea of what culture may be different from what your idea of culture is. We constantly talk about protecting the culture. What does that look like? What is that in the especially in the band world? Because I think that goes back to exactly what I said earlier on last show. A lot of the things that we call culture was borrowed when it comes to band,
Right.
So how do we really say what culture is and how we define that and what that looks like? I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that.
Right. So because like when you think about like, okay, Southern University patterns in motion, like we know where that comes from. Like we have documentation of where that comes from. Now I think because like when you say, are we afraid of the HBCU band culture to be borrowed? I'm sorry, is it heavily borrowed or stolen? The truth is we took things from our counterparts as well and then made it our own by the tunes that we played. There are some great musician and aficionados that has turned it and made it ours, like dance routines and different things like that. I remember back in the day, FAMU used to look like it was a victory line where the drum majors would run down the middle, and then Morris Brown did the same thing as well. Like we made it our own, but the truth is, was that ours to begin with, or is that just band culture? I think bottom line, when you speak about this young lady from the USC, I don't have an issue with her doing that. Let me be clear. I don't have an issue with her doing that. But I do think she has to be very, very careful on how you introduce it to people. I think at the end of the day, she is introducing something to a university that may not have ever seen it ever, right? But it's important because I did see a portion of the interview where she says it comes from historical Black colleges and universities, and that USC is a predominantly white institution. But she feels that students that look like her need that space, right? So my thing is, when she said that, I was good. But from your comment that you paraphrase, that's a slippery slope because the Dancing Dolls, J Sets, Golden Girls, they've been doing that for years. And I think what's frustrating, and I'm just speaking, my thought, what may be frustrating is it that because she's at USC, it's a brighter light, and you have others that have been doing it for years and just being noticed? Like and again, I've never been a dancer, so I would literally have to. I wish Maya was here to answer this question, because what's the frustrating part about her? Is it being USC? Because let's be honest, if this was a bunch of white girls, would we really have an issue with it? And then that's a whole different story.
I think we
But
would.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But she's a sister. She just happens to be at USC. I think that's the only difference. And if we listen to the interview, she gave respect to historical black colleges and universities. My question is, what do we want more from her? Like, what is it?
So I think with her in that particular interview, and I think we talk about, well, you say it a lot. Yeah, because she did say something about HBCUs, and she did recognize the HBCUs for that. But then she went on later in the interview and did say, what I paraphrased, and then went on later to say, I'm giving, and I'm paraphrasing again, I'm giving girls, that look like me, if you want to do it, do this or whatever, you can just kind of go out there and do it. And I think that it kind of struck a chord, because it almost seemed like it canceled out what she had said previously about the HBCUs and the predominantly white institutions. And so I think that is kind of where, and a lot of people are probably pulling out that one segment and not looking at the HBCU part of it, where she did mention it, because she did mention it. In all fairness, she did mention it.
Right. And so that's why I say it's a slippery slope, because I've seen some comments that stated, well, why she just didn't go to HBCU. Well, my question is this: well, what if she had a full ride to USC? Like, not being ugly, if you got a full ride somewhere, like, I'm gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? Looking at it back now, if I could go back, I'm gonna be at a full ride. You can't beat a full ride. But my thing is, as long as she continues, and from what I've seen, the whole team black. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't understand. I'm gonna be sincere. I really don't understand, and maybe I'm just ignorant to it because I'm not a dancer, to what she's doing bad. I heard her give respect to the HBCUs. I've seen her, say the history of it. She attends a PWI. This come from historical black colleges and universities. Now, one thing I would like to see her to do is reach out to Miss Sean at PV, because Prairie View and Langston, that Midwest area, is the first HBCUs coming from the west to the east. So my thing is, why not reach out to some of those to bridge the gap, to truly say this is the origin of where it comes from? That's, if that was me, but that's Quan and the rationale that I think of, because you're going to have more and more people. Because here's the truth: in California, a lot of that does not happen. So my thing is, if you're going to use that platform, open it up broader. Talk about the dancing dolls. Talk about the J sets. Talk about the Black Foxes. Talk about the Golden Girls. Talk about all of these schools that have been doing it for years, and give them their just due, because you're giving them a bigger platform. It's crazy that the Dancing Dolls have been that core group for so many years, and now they're just getting the recognition on like ESPN, or the Black Foxes getting their show just now. But we also have to give respect to the lady from DD4L. We have to give her an aspect of respect too, because she opened it up to the masses as well. We're gonna be honest, regardless if you agree with her or not.
So I don't disagree with you totally.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some questions. There are some slippery slopes that she is treading on. And I'm gonna bring it up, and I brought it up last time. Is this exclusively for black girls?
Being honest. So okay, so watch this. I see people get up, and I'm gonna use this example. People get up and roars and rave about stepping, right? For fraternities, right? If you really know where that comes from, that's African gumboot dance, and it was actually slaves in West Africa that used gumboots and bells when they would go into the mines, because they told them that they couldn't communicate. So then they developed the dance after because they would communicate, because if the bells would stop shaking, some of them would have died and it would have dragged them out. That's where the origin of it comes from. And then we develop stepping over some odd years, later at fraternities and whatnot. When I see other people do it, it's imitation. So my thing is, at the end of the day, what if Bill Moffitt and his descendants was like, you know what, I don't want y'all to be doing 8 to 5. What's the difference? Because somebody of another race developed that same concept. Like, some of the things I feel like that we need to educate others on, to let them know that this is ours. But honestly, some of that you can't control that and you can't own it, because there's not a copywritten aspect to
it. I mean, I don't disagree. Like I'm all for educating people who are unaware.
Mm-hmm.
And while I ask that question, like, is it specifically for black girls? The issue, I think people would be up in arms would be like, what happens when this young girl graduates,
mm-hmm.
right? And if it still goes on, and it's not exclusively for black girls, what if after a while, after all those young chocolate girls graduate, and one of them was caramel, maybe two of them, but after they graduate, what if it ends up being a whole bunch of Caucasian women want to be a part of it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a completely Caucasian line? What does that look like? Like, what was that the goal? Was that the plan? How do you justify what you were trying to do in the beginning to what it could possibly end up? And these are a lot of what ifs, right? Like, we really don't know, but in the grand scheme of things, like, I think this is where a lot of people are maybe getting their frustration from.
But my question, even if she left and just say, because the truth is, there's going to be another race that's going to integrate that line. Like my thing is, so if a white girl wants to dance like that particular style, why would you, in my opinion, why would you hinder that? But we have to be mindful, and honestly, like, we gotta educate each other that this is where it comes from. I'm looking at, like Crystal's comment. She says, we the blacks have casted a lot of our greatest innovations, and then it becomes white. Look at jazz.
Yeah, I said that on a past show.
Right.
That was inherently ours. The first American music art form. The first American music art form to make it in the United States was jazz, an art form by African Americans, and we now are the people who don't even participate in it, and by and large.
So the question is, excuse me, the question is for that then is, do we have a lack of respect for us then? Because it's crazy how every other culture is like I saw a shirt that says they love our rhythm, but they hate our blues. But then the question is, do we hate ourselves though too? Because do we hate ourselves enough to truly be like, nah, this is ours, and we're going to continue to educate each other? Prime example, I was with my mother this weekend, and we were just talking about recipes. And so I'm blessed because my family, like, we know what plantation we come from.
You got that loaf? Yeah, you got that recipe?
Get that? Well, I'm gonna get it from her. Get it from her. Yeah, and y'all's not really chilling. It's crawfish.
No, you don't gotta tell them. We know what we're talking about. This is cold. I'm talking about we good, but yeah. You need to cop that, bro.
Right. So we were talking about recipes. We were talking about, like, in Louisiana, there's something called sweet potato bread, and her specific style of pecan candy and different things like that. But that's an appreciation for it. I think after, like, eventually we end up losing that. Like, we end up losing the love for jazz of what we created. And then other people see it and then become grafty with it, and they take it. And then we know how history operates. They act like it's theirs. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue. My thing is, we need to, on this show one time, we talked about the great original band directors, the Dr. Sanfords, the Dr. Isaac Griggs, the original band director for Mississippi Valley, and how Dr. Sanford said that they were the first historical Black college and university band to march on the Rose Bowl in the 60s, something that we did not even speak about or even know about. Those are the gentlemen and greats that the shoulders we stand on today that we don't even preach about. So, we're talking about band and dance and education, but my question is, who's tallying the true history of these things and really preaching and honing it up? And so what we're imitating, we can go back and be like, well, these are the people that started it and how it carried on, so that we don't lose their legacy. So I think we got to do a better job with that, first of all.
Yeah, I agree. And you hit a nail on the head, and I think it also applies to us too. Like, and it goes back to kind of what we were saying at the beginning, right? Like, we have taken things and then we have affectionately called it our own. This is what we do, right? And when we were talking about that last show, the show that I kind of brought this up on, a lot of people, there are people who think that Southern was the first, drum major to do the kick out, and it's just they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's been done for so long, and us as a culture, that the band culture has embraced it so much that we automatically put in our brain that is inherently ours. It belongs to Southern. That's what they do. But if you've seen Ohio State, and even much so, I ended up pulling this up for Brother Edwin. Me and him, he commented on one of the videos, and I wanted to share this very quickly, to make sure that we got documentation. You got to have some documentation sometimes, So yeah, if you see this, 1956 Ohio State University marching band, and obviously, they do their normal entrance, their pregame entrance, but this is the 1950s, and if you look at the drum major right here, doing the kick out at a very early time. Now, we put our own flavor on it, obviously, but it didn't start with us. But we would affectionately call what happens now and what many high schoolers do the culture. So, I think that you hit some nails on the head when we start talking about, borrowing from others and then calling it our own. So I definitely agree on that front. But as far as this young lady is concerned, I still think it's a real slippery slope that she's on.
So, but why do you feel like it's slippery? Like, what specifically?
I feel it's only slippery in the sense of, like you said, paying homage to where the history came from, specifically that style of dance, right? Because, like you said, music is music, dance is dance, but style and styles have a history, and just understanding that history and that culture, because based on what she said, that she has a history of dance. She danced when she was younger, so, or in high school, I believe she said something like that. So I think that matters, right? And she just has to be careful with how she communicates that information, right? Because, like I said, when she said one thing, all right, cool, you paid homage, but then the other thing counted itself out. So I think that it's that situation too that just kind of makes it, pretty slippery, in my personal opinion. Trust me, not a dancer, but I'm just saying.
But also, I think what kind of threw a lot of people off, like I put it up, on my phone as you were speaking, and then the first thing it says is HBCU Major Red Dance Team at PWI. So it becomes an oxymoron. So we know some of what they're doing is clickbait, right? But then it's saying HBC, a historical Black college dance team at a PWI. My thing about it is that's not an HBCU. So it's like we have to correct and say what it is. It's a particular style that they're doing out of PWI. If she saw and said, well, they didn't have the space for me there, okay, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a style of dance that she's emulating from a historical black college or university, but it's not a HBCU. The truth is, if we want to be honest, she's not a HBCU dancer. So the things that Maya has endeavored through, and these other dancers for these historical black colleges has endeavored through, she doesn't know. But I don't think it's wrong for her to create a space for her at her particular university. My only thing is give respect where respect is due. Your goal should be to keep the legacy or close as possible as what you can. But being honest, I'm not wishing her to fail, but I don't see how you're going to do that unless you put someone over that team from a historical black college. And we talked about that on this show. The truth is, when you go to HBCU, we learn about them, right? They don't learn about us. We can adapt to them. Most of them cannot adapt to us. My thing is, someone, if they want to keep and say, quote unquote, the HBCU style, well, eventually they will need somebody that experienced that.
And I think the other half of that too, and once again, not a dancer, but I think the other half of that too is the fact that the style that she's emulating comes from a place in an area of people who have been doing it for a long time. She does it, gets some TikTok notoriety, Instagram notoriety, and now she's on the show right a week after being posted. And you have young ladies who have been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years, and the recognition of it has not even been close to being in the limelight, if you would, the way it is, for these young ladies. So I think that is another part of it that we may be missing out on as it relates to these young ladies too.
And I guess this is my last comment, in regards to it. But we respect the dancers that don't look like us that are HBCU lines now. So what's the difference?
The funny thing, I was thinking that this whole conversation, I was waiting for either you or I to bring it up, but you brought it up. So no, I agree. I am going to talk about, and I don't want to I'm gonna put it out there, but not in a negative way. But there was a young lady in Hot Ice. Her name was Katie. And Katie,
the white girl.
Yeah.
And, I remember. Yeah.
And listen, it didn't matter if she did something wrong or she did something right. If she was out there, everybody was cheering. And I think, and as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, there was one battle where we played Donk, back when that was hype. And Katie was out there twerking her little body, and the whole crowd was going crazy. Oh Lord, yeah. So no, I don't disagree with that, because when we get some non-chocolate folk on in what we do, heck, you can even take it as far as Greeks. Really, when they ain't non-chocolate, hey,
or even like Justin. Now that Justin is drum major at Alabama State, like people like his following.
At first, I thought you were talking about Justin Smash Time Justin. I was like, Justin is a drum. Okay, I
mean, Justin, he's tall enough to be one. Yeah,
yeah, he is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like when Justin was at his respected high school, like everybody was on him then. You know what I'm saying? It's like here's the crazy thing, and I guess this is the hardest question of them all. How do we protect our own without being racist like others?
Is it racist though?
I don't know. Like I'm, and in my opinion,
I don't think it's racist.
Oh,
by definition, Black people can't be racist because we're not in a position.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
I
but
hate
in
being
regard,
cultural. All right.
no,
Hey,
but let's say this, but in regards to HBCU like dance style. So hypothetically speaking, big sis, you over a line, right? Like you're over an organization. And
Yes.
if a young lady said, I'm going to be a silkette, and you feel me? And she hop on, and then she brings 6 white girls that want to be silkettes. And you be like, nah, because this is our culture.
I'm
Isn't that
not
kind of the
opposed
same?
to a Caucasian silkette. I um would have an issue if university down the street that is a PWI, their flags started modeling the silkette style. I mean, if you wanted to come here and get this HBCU experience and be at silkette at Norfolk State, welcome. But for you to go to a university that's not a HBCU and model that culture, I think is the issue for me. I'm not opposed. I'm waiting. One day we're gonna have a Caucasian silkette.
yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't know, Quan, if you had a thought about what she said.
Not no, because I do want us, because first of all, we have to define the culture. Like you said, I think we have to
I agree.
define the culture. And after we define the culture, how do we protect it? How do we protect it without being bigots? How do we protect it without some giving off the same thing that was given to us, but be like, this is ours?
So before you, well, I don't know if you're going to keep going. Will we more call that prejudice? Are we
No,
being?
because we only have a culture because they wouldn't accept us at their institutions. So when we got our own, we made it our own. So don't try to hijack it now because what we came up with is doper than y'all. That's my thing, is that we only have HBCUs and have a culture and developed our own thing because y'all weren't willing to accept us. So now, for you to want to have that at your institution, it's strange to me. But again, it's only allowed by our people. Because I know so many people would be like, this is so dope. This is not dope. Because they went over there and started that dance line, and they all on national TV and getting all this recognition when our school's been doing this stuff since forever. So why is her doing it or them doing it at that school getting so much attention? That's weird to me.
That's real.
So, but them getting the attention, I think is, like I said, I think it's the equivalent of the white Kappa, in my opinion, or a white Q. You know, that's setting it out. Like when they do it, it's like, oh Lord, this is the sweetest thing ever. But it's like most of the time it just be extra average. It don't even be like super sweet. The style be like, you know what I'm saying? But because
with the videos I watched of them, all the ripples look the same. So you need some help. You should have came on to a HBCU. Is what you should have did.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you this: if they ever have a gym battle, and it's another school and they battling USC, them girls gonna tear them a new one. My question is this: are they allowed to perform at football games now, or that's just a separate organization?
I think the young lady said that they're working on it. I think that's what her goal is I think she said to get on the field and perform with the USC band.
Can I be honest with you?
What are they gonna play? Dance like a HBCU dance line too. What is it that they're gonna play?
So USC is not like and I kind of don't want to say it this way because I don't really mean it this way. But USC is not like the whitest of the white band. Like they're not like super square. They're not that group. They're actually a pretty good band.
Yeah, they march 45s.
Right. Like they're not that far off from HBCU style band.
No, but then you're truly hijacking the culture. If this is the experience that you wanted, you should have went to a HBCU. It is not okay for. It's not okay with me. And I saw a lot of people like, oh, this is so dope. Check her out. She's pushing the culture forward. No, she's not. In my opinion, I don't agree with it. I do not. Like, you want to take the parts of the HBCU experience you want and morph it into something else at this place where it's not genuine, it's not organic, and I just think that's wrong.
I feel you, and I say this: if I could take any experience from PWI, I want the financial aid experience. That's number one. We're gonna be honest. Number two, though, like Mario asked in the group, he was like, "But should PWIs be mad that we took their marching style?" Because the truth is, stylistically, we did. So it's kind of like,
but it's the same thing I put up earlier with the drum major from the 50s, right? Like they did it before us. All we did was we added a little swag to it, but it's essentially theirs. So should they be upset by it?
Or even if we said, okay, you know, at one point it seemed like all HBCUs we were playing Purple Carnival. I don't know why, but you know, it was just certain ones we was playing. It's like that one, or you know, what is it? Rolling Thunder.
You might get a whole bunch of Marvin Baileys. Yeah,
like the Circus Bee or whatever. Like, we did the same thing, and it's almost where it's like those band directors were taking things because to show those PWIs we can do it too because you didn't allow us to do it. Maybe that was the motive. I don't know, but at one point we were. I don't know, bro.
Let me ask this question, Portia, before you unmute, and let me ask this real question: Is flag twirling inherently a black thing?
Is flag twirling inherently a black thing?
Yes. Like, was a drop spin created by black people for black people?
No.
But you do it, and should the people who created it, which more than likely weren't black, should they be upset at the fact that y'all do it? Even though y'all may do it a little different way, should they be upset by it? I'm just asking.
No, I mean, to me, color guard is a little different. That translates across all media. There's at no time was the HBCU Dance Line style. That wasn't derived from anybody but us. And it wasn't made for the masses, in my opinion. That was made for our bands. Because my thing is, if they didn't look like us, would y'all be this hype about it? Because if next week a dance line that don't look like us, like, start doing the same thing, are we gonna be, or will they be culture vultures because they Caucasian?
Man, you said it. I can't say it, but yeah. Sorry, you said culture. Never mind.
Hey, wasn't Bring It On about this? Really, wasn't Bring It On about this?
Hey, now we're not gonna talk about that movie. That movie is a great movie.
No, it's a great movie, but I'm saying that for that point. Like those girls from Torrance or the Toros, whatever, they thought that was original.
Rancho County Toros.
Yeah, one of them. I thought it was Torrance Toros. I don't know. Anyway,
no, Torrance was what you call his character. I can't remember her.
Oh, okay.
But Spider-Man's girlfriend. That was Torrance.
But the thing is, she stole everything from this hood school. That's where they got their style from. So,
but Torrance didn't steal it. Big Red stole it. Now, if you're gonna quote the movie, get the movie right.
But she still did it. She still did it.
I get your point though. But
yeah. So my question is, are dancers feeling exactly like this Bring It On situation, and are they feeling like that But the only difference is it's a person that looks like us that's making it acceptable there. And that question, I guess, is for you, Luke, and Portia.
I don't know if that question's for me, because in my mind, I'm still on Bring It On. So I'm sorry. I do, right? Spirit fingers. But no, I do think that I think it's an issue of the fact that she's black and she took a style that is inherently, I guess, the way the masses feel, it's inherently black from a historically black college and university, and took it to a predominantly white institution, and I guess is doing it in the name of black people, or for the name of black people, and I guess the culture. And I guess a lot of people are, I guess the thought is, well, why didn't you just do it at an HBCU? If that's what I'm believing, where the biggest backlash is because you're black and you're supposed to be kinfolk, but you took our thing to a non-skin folk area and tried to I guess you want to say glamorize it almost. So I think that's what it is. That's my personal opinion. Portia, I could be massively wrong, but that's what I think. That's my feeling.
No, that's my exact opinion. I don't. It's getting attention, but to me, that attention should be going to these lines who've been doing it.
That's real.
For 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, however long. Like, it is people who have been in this game a long time. I saw this post yesterday that says this is wrong because the dolls have been around forever and they just got a show. But this girl show up at USC and start a dance team, and she on a talk show and receiving all this national attention. That's the problem in itself. And that's what I feel like. That who are you to take the shine away from the people who should be getting it? And the fact that you don't understand that and think this is acceptable, to me, is weird.
Okay.
But I mean, everybody might not. I saw a lot of people bigging it up, reposting it, saying this is awesome. They'll finally look at us. They ain't looking at us. They looking at them dancing in the stands at whatever they were at. They're not looking at our band programs. They're looking at these people come up with these. I'm not gonna take any more jabs at those ripples. Come up with these ripples and display them. That, to me, that's not giving us that culture the right attention, because there's people who've been doing it forever.
I hope at least if she's really going to respect the culture, she does need to reach out, to those HBCU dance instructors and aficionados, so that at least if you're gonna do it, and at least my thing is like Deion Sanders for Jackson State. He's a graduate. I mean, he didn't graduate from Florida State, but he's a graduate from an HBCU. I think he went to Tougaloo or something like that. But my thing is, at the end of the day, what you laughing at? Because I said Tougaloo?
I mean, no, I was not because you said Tougaloo. Because because you gotta remember, I'm a band person, so it's like Tougaloo. Like, who cares?
Yeah. I think he got from Tougaloo and Talladega, one on the two, but I think Tougaloo, but like he pushes HBCUs now. My thing, if you're gonna preach about these HBCUs, the least she could do, Portia, is go back and be like, hey, I keep saying prancing dolls because that's us, but dancing dolls instructor, go back. How can we help you promote your line? J sets, Black Foxes, how can we help you? Gremlin, how can we help you? So forth and so on. Orchesis, yeah.
Want to make sure. So let me ask you guys this question, and so, oops, wrong thing. My bad. Give me 1 second. So let me ask you guys this: is this okay then? Like, is this cool? So is that cool? Nobody got me. Because the truth the truth the truth of the matter is, regardless of how amazing that was,
You can't, bro. You can't even
regardless
keep
of
it straight.
let me just try to get through this.
I
Regardless
could throw
of,
8 counts better than that.
that's not the point. That's not the point. No, regardless of how amazing that was, we know where the origin of that came from. And this video has been out for quite some time. Like, I think it's been about maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe more. But there was no uproar about that. As a matter of fact, everybody did exactly what we're doing now, laughing about it. Like, really? Like, really? Really? So one is passable, but the other is a detriment to the culture. And I'm just asking the question. I'm not, remember, I'm an equal opportunity listener. I'm listening on both sides, but I gotta know, how is the one worse than the other? Because the truth of the matter is, like I asked earlier, the question is this exclusively what the young lady is doing at USC? Is it exclusively for black people? If it's not exclusively for black people, then white people will come into it. But you got that video that I just showed has nothing but white girls on there, and nobody batted an eye about that one. So which one's the worst one?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You must have froze.
Yeah, I did.
Oh shoot! I
Yeah.
thought you were looking at the light in the sky.
No. Yeah, it had froze.
No,
Nah, bro. I think the difference is because it was trash. Like we laughed at it. Like that's just what it
the
was.
girls
Trash.
at USC was top notch.
No, I don't. No.
Exactly. So both of them. So
No.
white
No.
girls,
What I'm
don't get me wrong.
No,
the
what
white
I'm
girls
saying
were
is,
not good. Let's put that out there.
But no, I didn't even see the USC people dance. But I think the difference is people are trying to accept it because it was one of us, and I think that's the pass. Like we try to give us a pass, but again, that's why I haven't really been commenting hard on here, because at the end of the day, I'm not a dancer, so I don't feel I don't have the same type of dog in the fight as maybe Portia or Maya or Miss Shawn. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. Like, we're band directors, so we understand the lineage of marching band history and what we borrowed heavily and what we made our own. So we're not tripping. But if Portia is saying, hey, from an auxiliary perspective, this is what we created for us. This is the type of, jazz style or whatever. I don't know all of them, but this type of style of singing that we do. Now, on the flip side, there's one dance move that I know is the pirouette. It's because I be hearing my dance instructor yelling at the kids talking about, you need to do the pirouette. You need to walk on relevate. That's the two that I know. We've borrowed, and I guess that's my thing. But I understand Portia's point of view. If you're gonna bring it there, you should pay homage and pay respect. But you can't tell nobody what school to go to. I've also saw that comment too. You can't tell that girl what she should have went to HBCU. Again, maybe she got a full ride. I don't know. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe nobody really said it. Maybe she really wasn't good enough to make a dance squad. Not saying she was or she wasn't. Nope. I'm just saying maybe she wasn't.
Nope.
I don't know. But we know there's some high school directors that wasn't on HBCU dance colleges either, and they was just in high school.
I agree.
But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Miss D got a whole set of girls out there, and she ain't make nobody's college line.
But she cold.
So
I just call Portia and Maya. That's and Miss Sean. That's what I'm gonna do. So
I mean, well, I know. And speaking of Sean, she had a really nice interview with I think it was Pro Cheerleading Podcast or something like that. She had a really good interview with them with the lady from I think it's Pro Cheerleading Podcast. And it was about an hour interview, and she did it. I think she did it via Instagram, but I know for a fact that it's on YouTube as well. So I actually went back and listened to most of it. I didn't get through all of it because it's an hour long, and I had some other stuff to take care of. But no, it was a really good interview, and it was discussing this particular matter. And Sean dropped some actual history of majorette lines, where it came from, who was the first one. Like she was Sean, you know what I'm saying? So she's like super thorough with the information. So I would invite y'all to check that out, as far as, this relating topic, and just get some more insight and some more thoughts from a different perspective. All right. Let's go on to the next one, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy while you're in the room. Like I said earlier, you can hit the dislike button. It'll kind of hurt my feelings, but I'll be all right though, man. But just give us something, like or dislike. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passioneers Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. So kind of along the lines of the same topic, not specifically the dance girls, but just everything that we encompass in general. We always talk about culture. I'm not going to say culture, the V word after that, because I struggle with that, but culture, right? And so, and we talk about all the time about establishing what exactly is the culture. I'm going to be honest. My culture would be hella different from a lot of people. I'll leave politics out of that. But so when it comes to this band thing and this music education thing, or just I'll keep it straight in the band thing. Even when it comes to this USC thing, I keep hearing, man, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. It ain't that. Well, I don't know. And once again, I'm an equal opportunity listener, so I'm gonna try to make sure I say that all the time. But when is it that serious? When is it that serious? Right? Because I think the thing that bothers me sometimes is we always talking about, I'll say this, swagger jackers, because I can't say the other one. We always talk about swagger jackers, right? And protecting the culture. But at what point do we actually protect the culture? When is it that serious if we always talking about, man, it ain't that serious? So when is it that serious? Portia, go for it.
When people say stuff like that, it irritates me. I actually had a conversation about a young lady who's Legion, former Legion. I don't remember her. She came after my time, and she was up there last week. And she was like, I remember you. And I was like, oh, you do? She was like, yeah, you was mean as hell. I was like, sounds about right. And we just started having a conversation, and she was like, I don't think it's that serious. None of this is that deep. I said, and that's when I knew it was time for me to exit stage left. That's why I left at the end of 2008. And so I don't really understand. It's not that serious. That's how people are allowed to infringe upon the things that we created when our only recourse was us. And so in that situation, we made things great. Like, that's the history of our people. They gave us scraps. We turned it into something that people seek out and find in soul food. You shouldn't eat a lot of that, but we always take situations that are meant to break us and turn it into something else. They wouldn't accept us in schools. We created our own. And now they have long, rich histories and are turning out the most Black doctors, Black lawyers, making successful individuals. And so these things we created out of necessity and have made our own and turned them into something great. That's what's the culture to me. And so you saying that people who didn't want us, or our people going to places where we weren't wanted and trying to infuse our culture into those spaces, is that serious? And if we're not willing to stake claim to the things that we came up with creatively, then this is why they're able to do stuff like that. And it's not going to stop there. It's going to grow. And where's the line drawn? So if our attitude about it is not that serious, then they're going to take us at our word. And it's going to continue to happen. And the lines will get blurred because it's not that serious.
All right. Quan, when is it that serious?
Well, I think it's always been that serious. I think it's always been that serious. And even to take it a step further from what Portia was saying, we got to understand the inception and establishment of our HBCUs, quote unquote, according to the Freedmen's Act. A lot of white folks was trying to civilize us. That's the whole point of it. They were trying to civilize us. And if you look at specific universities, I believe one is Fisk, they literally revolted against the headmaster or the quote unquote principal of the university because they were treating them like savages, like really bad. And then they revolted against them. And then they started putting their own headmasters that look like us for the betterment of those individuals. It's always been that serious because bottom line, we put our heart, blood, sweat, and tears into this. And for a lot of us, it saved our lives. Like the truth is, it's for the purpose of us, like for us, by us. Because I mean, not fubu, but for us, by us. The whole point though is, I believe that only at a HBCU is where you can be your most optimum Black. Like, and it's okay and it's unapologetic. That's why we're gonna be honest. A lot of people be like, they try to stay there too long because it's low-key like a safe space and safe haven. Like, and I know those that attended the HBCU as an undergraduate, your teacher could have been like low-key like your auntie that was like, oh, you're not coming to class? Call your mama. But at a PWI, oh, you're gonna get this F, bro. It's a different sense of care and culture because it's about making the person better. Now, we could speak about financial aid and joke about all of those other things later, but it is a place for us. Now, when you speak about band, we put a lot of work into making those things great and to make those things, what it is. So it is that serious. I do think the people that say it's not that serious possibly is the people that weren't good, were those people who were the knuckleheads in the band, were those people that didn't get it while they were there. Those 4 years, 5 years, or however that you marched in that band program should have built you for the real world. It's situations and scenarios that we can all reflect back. I don't care if it's the band creed. I don't care if it's a poem or whatever that you learned during that time that made you who you are today. Every person that I hear speak about Willow Ridge still goes by the code of honor, pride, and discipline. How I know it, I know it. The whole point is, it's a spirit that they've developed over those years through their band director. You speak about prayer if you're not a marching stone. We all we got, we all we need. Like, that is something that they carry with them. Like you were saying, the Norfolk band creed, I think one day on the phone, like that's something that sticks with you. And at the end of the day, it is that serious because I believe with my whole heart, for my students in high school right now, and then the college students that I will get, God gonna hold me accountable for that. How did you make this child better after you depart from this side of heaven? How did you make these people better? How did you cultivate these students, and how did you plant seeds for growth for my name's sake to make these kids better? And if you didn't, and if you caused those kids to stumble, then why you was in that position in the first place? It is that serious, because you're dealing with souls, not just horn players, but you're dealing with souls. So it is that serious, bro. If God give you that opportunity to be a leader of an organization, take it serious, bro, because you could impact that person's life forever, positively or negatively.
So, I want to go back just for a second. When did the culture of it's not that serious begin? And the reason why I asked that question is because I remember teaching in I think it was Beaumont, may have been Beaumont, and one of the things that would frustrate me with these young kids is that when I would bring these concepts to them, Mr. Luke, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. And when as a educator, sometimes you get that from parents. When you're trying as a band director, you're like, hey, this is the expectation that we have for this program. Oh man, it's just band. It ain't that serious. So I'm trying to figure out where the idea of it ain't that serious came from and when it really began, because even when what Quan has said is absolutely 100% true. Whenever I meet people from the Ridge back, who came up under my director, and this is no slight to, who's there now, but who came up under my director, there is an automatic connection that happens with us. And it was that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like it made us better people. And for our parents, when we were kids, it was that serious for our parents too. So when did the idea and the culture shift to it's not that serious?
When parents started in my household, everything I did needed to be my very best. That half doing stuff, being a part of stuff and not giving it your all was not an option. I mean, I used to take like ballet and tap and stuff, and I got tired of that. My mom was like, you're going to do something. You're not going to sit in this house every day. So I was like, my sister marched flag at V State. I'm going to go try that. That's how I ended up here. And because I couldn't sit in the house. So I think when there was a shift in everybody needs a participation award, everybody can do everything that they set their mind to, when that be the best and you'll be rewarded mentality changed in parenting and in talking to students, I think that's when it's not that serious came to be, because it's not something I remember hearing when I was growing up or when I was in high school band. I had never heard that until like recent years, that it's not that serious. And when that mentality, when I started to hear it when I was at Norfolk State, I was like, oh yeah, it's time for me to go. Because to us, it was that serious. It still is that serious to me. Why do you want to half do something? Why do you want your name on something that is half? I'm giving up cursing. That is half done. So I don't understand that. You are okay with being mediocre? That's what that seems to me, is that I'm okay with being mediocre, or your standards are too high. It's not that deep. So I think when there was a shift in expectations from parents, I think it translated into the real world, because I couldn't half do anything in my house. So I just think that's the difference.
I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna let you go, Quan, because it's dawning on me that you just said that somebody from the Legion said that. Like, if you said the band pledge, like that doesn't even compute with me, right? Like,
You understand why I said Dr. Sanford, this my last year.
like that doesn't, the last stanza of that
thing. Okay,
like,
so it wasn't real to them anymore.
Oh.
It didn't translate. You didn't internalize that thing like it did for me. And when I heard that in 08, I said, oh yes, this journey. Okay, that's why when we had that show and I was like, I knew it was my time and I was okay with that. I knew the writing was on the wall. I knew.
Understandable. Yeah, that I don't know. That's triggering something in me right now. Like, I earnestly believe that Norfolk State University had a spark. Anyway, let me stop. Let me shut up. I saying it in my head right now. Go ahead, Quan. Sorry.
Damn, bro. My thing is this. I feel like it became not serious to the parents when it became an inconvenience to them. And I think that's just the bottom line for what it is. Like, if you really sit back and think, it's more about, you have more parents that are selfish than anything. So it's not about, quote unquote, the kid. So again, what you eat, your kids will feed off. Excuse me. And so if a parent be like, man, I don't even know why you even going to that practice. Like, how many parents, I've heard parents be like, y'all not even good. You know, like, say things like that, excoriating the kid. And we think it's funny and we chuckle at it. But the truth is, like, it's some of the parents that put that in their kids' mind. Oh, you're not gonna be good. Oh, what you gonna do with that? Oh, you playing a trumpet? Like, what's I mean, how does that gonna benefit you? And then you're making noise too, and I gotta go to work. Like, it's all those things. Because I dealt with it too here until I started showing them, hey, you know, you can get this much money for a scholarship, and they'd be like, well, go ahead and go practice then. So when the parents don't see the value in it, how the kids gonna see the value in it? And I think that's literally what we're dealing with. We could talk about the participation trophy, which was something that a white woman developed, you know, with school, that everybody needs a participation trophy. But the truth is, everybody's not good. Like, it's okay. I'll never forget, I had sent an arrangement to Luke and Rick, and Rick was like, man, you should do this, do that, do this. And it was like 15 things. And I was like, damn, bro. I just asked, but it wasn't good.
Soul was hurt.
Yeah, it was like, it's okay, bro. It's just word up. Oh, fix it. But that's nothing wrong with saying that, bro.
But you use that to get better, right?
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. But everybody does not have that mentality to get better. Like, everybody, what I realize is, we look and we marvel at greats such as Kobe Bryant and different things like that, at just the mentality that they had. And this is what I realized this week. I told myself this week, I said, I'm going to wake up at 4:45 to get these specific tasks done. I want to pray, do, you know, these specific things. Do you know, when I told my mind that, and I made my mind up, my body woke up before my alarm clock did. So you have many people in their mind, they're already defeated. They're cool with mediocrity, and that's okay. Like, for them, that's okay to be mediocre, and that's good with them. But then you have another select few of people that looks at it like, I only got a certain amount of time here, and I'm walking closer to my expiration date. Everybody doesn't have that mentality. And if you don't have that mentality, well, how your kids gonna have it? Unless your kid's being inspired by that band director or that dance teacher or that person that's in front of them, inspiring them for greatness.
Yeah, you when you started that conversation, you triggered something. I had a kid who was learning French horn, and her mom said, why are you playing that? Like, you're not gonna be good. And then literally bet that she wouldn't be able to play the B flat scale. It was just the B flat scale. And like, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, what? So I was like, all right, you gonna play that B flat scale. Matter of fact, you're gonna play B flat and E flat. And Lord and behold, I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks later, she was playing B flat and E flat scale. She was like, see, mama, I could do it. And she was like, okay, all right. And then her mind shifted. So you're absolutely right, man. I think that that's actually, like I said, it triggered me for a second because it was frustrating to even have a parent even do that. But here's the thing too, right? Like when it comes to even just going back to the USC thing, I think one of the things that's bothering or that triggered this question is the fact that there were so many people similar to what you said, Quan. I'm not a dancer, so I don't really know, but there were a lot of people who were commenting on it that aren't dancers, but then it's not that serious. But you may not be a dancer, but it won't be that serious to you specifically, but it is serious to them. Mm-hmm. So instead of putting it out there in that manner, I would rather you just did what Quan did. I mean, this isn't my wheelhouse, so I don't have much to speak on it. I would rather allow X, Y, and Z to speak on it because that's where that makes to me that makes it a little bit more respectful, and it doesn't dismiss it like it just doesn't matter. Because once you say it's not that serious to the people looking and the people watching and the people, then it becomes very dismissive. And it's almost like if I'm sitting there and Maya or Portia or I saw Phoenicia in here early, like if all these people were here and they're part of an auxiliary line and I'm like, it ain't that serious. For them it is, and it becomes dismissive to them. And it makes me feel like I don't care, and I am not sensitive to the things that they're sensitive to, if that makes sense.
My therapist said it like this, and it stuck with me. You can't do something that impacts other people and then tell them how to feel. You can't do that. So if you feel like personally it's not that serious, why are you voicing that? Why does it matter? If that's how you feel, keep it moving. But you hit the nail on the head to dismiss it like it's not a thing to the people it matters to. That's a problem for me. You can't tell them that what they're feeling is not that serious. That's nuts, because how they feel is how they feel. So I just think that's crazy. I saw a lot of that and I was just like, oh, this is ignorant. And a couple people are no longer friends with me on social media. Delete, block, delete. I'm not a dancer, but I know how I would feel if I flipped on, opened the computer, and they now got a flag line. They look just like the Silks. What the hell? What is this? What
didn't recognize the Silks. And I think that's when you become a cultural vulture. Right. That's when you misappropriate culture.
You just putting this out here like we right. Doing this thing. We came up with this and we started this at USC, but we were inspired by this group, and this group. To me, that wasn't said. And somebody said earlier, would it have been better for them to just create a community line? That would have been better for me. You got USC cross your chest. So to me, that's a part of the school that is weird to me.
Hey, but you know what? And as you say that, Portia, for them to have USC across the chest, that means the school approved it.
Of course they are. That's going to make them look inclusive.
Yeah. Which is all a gimmick.
Absolutely.
Which is all a gimmick.
You want to do what? Absolutely. In this Black Lives Matter culture, this is going to get us some points. Of course, so they signed off on it.
They're going to get on the field. Y'all know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all know they're going to get on that field. And they're going to play they're going to play Neck or something like that. One of the blackest songs they can find, like Black and Blues or something like that.
No, they're probably going to play Back That Thing Up or
it's going to be.
No, I'm telling you, it's going to be either that or it's going to be, what's the one that they did on, what's her name? Chopper Style. It's gonna be something.
Chopper Style?
Yes, they did.
They played Chopper Style, y'all.
Yes, on what's her name show? It was they danced to Chopper Style. It's gonna be one of them.
That's what they do the ripples to Chopper Style.
Yep, absolutely. I'm telling you. Hey,
you see what I'm saying, Quan? It ain't right. It ain't right. I would have rather it being a community line.
So Lauren, we already said that though.
Yeah, I don't have
We
anything
said that
against
USC is
band.
actually a pretty good band though. But I'm not.
And they do play like different like genres of music. True, but my thing is this: how would you think the fans of LSU would have been, because now they had a brother as a band director, as a head band director, if he would have changed the Fleur de Lis just like the I think it's Fleur de Lis or whatever, the golden whatever, I can't remember their name, but their dancer. What if they'd have changed their dancers to HBCU style? They would have been in the uproar too.
They would have, but that to me, and I was going to use that as an example, right? If that would have happened, I would have still seen people saying it's not that serious. But let LSU have done an 8 to 5 drill with the drum major coming out, hitting the back being daddy, and then they doing a dance routine. Then no, we can't do that.
The cult would have turned the United States upside down.
But that's exactly my point, right?
Right.
When do we decide that it's that serious? Why is it whatever it is? This Bixby thing is getting on my nerves. It's whatever. Is it whatever you deem part of the culture, or is it the whole gambit? Is it the whole thing? And I think that's where I get so confused at when I see some of these comments. Like, at what point? Where is the line for it is serious versus it's not serious? What is serious?
And I understand that, I respect Quan saying, I don't really have a dog in this fight, but it's ours. So everybody got a dog in the fight. Everybody, because I'm telling you, it could have been something completely different than this. It could have been that scenario that Julian just described. I don't play no instrument, but I'm pissed because it's all of us. It's all of it. All of it is ours. All of it is ours. So I don't know. And I don't know. People who say it's not that serious get under my skin. I don't get that. Because then we want to pick and choose. This serious, but this not. Why you mad about this? You should be mad about this. You can't tell me how to feel. And I just think we just need to be more supportive as a people. If you don't have anything to say to support the people to feel some type of way, be quiet. Don't say nothing. But don't belittle or demean what somebody's feeling. That's just messed up to me. And I feel like we do that too much as a people.
But I think one thing is Black people, one thing we got to just make a decision for is we got to decide, okay, which way we gonna go with this? Because other cultures and races, they be like, hey, we like this. And they may not agree, but they be like, hey, they say we're going with this way, so we gonna go this way. Black folk be like, nah, that ain't true. And we put it on social media and look divided. So, I feel what you're saying.
I see you gonna open up a whole nother can of worms, because that goes way outside of band, music education.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. With the percentage of Black players in the NFL and how they could have shut the whole thing down and Colin Kaepernick should have a job today, because if all y'all didn't show up to work one day, they would have gave that man a job, because they can't play football without us. Let's be clear. But no, I'm going to worry about my check. And I ain't really worried about him. But now the whole NFL is Black Lives Matter. It's hats everywhere. It's sideline gear. It's all of this other stuff for what he tried to start years ago. But we didn't have our own man's back.
Yeah. Honestly, from a historical place, there's always a Black sacrificial lamb first before everybody catch on. Yeah.
But he didn't have to be sacrificed, because there's too many Black players on rosters they could have shut this whole thing down. If they didn't show up one game, they ain't gonna fire all of them. Who gonna play?
Yeah.
We have a history of that, unfortunately. And I've had that conversation with many people before, and we always come up with the same conclusion. It's all about design.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about design. We can dive deep into that as much as possible. But we'll be here for another 3, 4, 5 hours because there is a side of me in that space that I feel very strongly about. But I don't want to jump into that water on this particular platform, or at least on this show. Now, maybe down the line I'll create a show like that. But as for now, we gonna move it forward though. All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. That's all I got. Y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy, man. Like I say earlier, you can give us a thumbs down. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. We are gonna slightly shift gears here just for a second. And this kind of goes along what we started talking about in the beginning, Quan, and my lack of, I guess, excitement for what I saw this weekend as it relates to band. And so I got on the phone with Rick and we were talking about a whole bunch of things. As a matter of fact, we started talking about O2 Morris Brown, Norfolk State. We had a big conversation about that. But one of the things that he popped up and said, which this weekend, while I was watching a lot of bands this weekend, or the bands that performed this weekend, is a lot of these bands ain't that good this year. Like when you really think about the bands that have already been displayed, right? And as a matter of fact, if you really go and just count it, everybody's pretty basically been displayed. Once you get past Jackson, Southern, FAM, Norfolk, PV,
Alabama State.
You took the words out of my mouth. They sound
Alabama
good.
State.
Come on, bro. Don't.
No. I'm not taking anything away from Alabama State. I'm really not. No, I disagree. I mean, I agree. My bad. I agree. I've been messing them up. But anyway, no, I agree. Alabama State. As a matter of fact, what Alabama State did with the drum majors and the what are they called? Honeybees. Yeah. They did a little dance routine. They did a little dance routine with the honeybees, which I thought was cool. I thought it was cool.
I'm kind of be on the fence with that though. We had those conversations, but I thought that was dope.
Yeah, and because I'm usually the one that's like, oh, they put them out there for publicity. But then I was like,
but I thought that was kind of sweet. I saw that and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, aside from them,
Kentucky State good, bro. Tennessee State good. Like we missing a few.
But see, the thing about it is, and I'm not taking anything away from Tennessee State or Kentucky State, because I think Tennessee State is good. I'm not gonna. But the thing about it is, and it's the same thing I say about Norfolk. I love the Legion, but I'm gonna say the same thing about Tennessee State that I'm gonna say about Norfolk.
Well, see nobody.
Well, yeah, you don't see anybody. Hence, the level of media is not big, so it's just kind of like you'll get something, and then it'll be a while before you get something new. And then it'll be another while. It's like it's so much space there, and it's just like
we only have
right. It's just they kind of get lost in the wind, So that's kind of the way I feel about Tennessee State. But as in totality, like the bands are kind of like me. It's just like, even if you go so far, and I will say, I think Jackson sounds good, but when you really look at it, Jackson is just being Jackson. When you really look at it, like, so the question is, are we desensitized to mediocre musicianship and entertainment? Are we desensitized to mediocre musicianship and entertainment?
What do you mean? We don't recognize it?
No, basically what I'm saying is, have we become comfortable with mediocre musicianship and entertainment in the sense that we see it, we be like, oh yeah, this is great, but it just be like me. It really just be me. So for instance, let me give you an example. The thing with the honeybees was really entertaining.
Mhm.
And I thought it was unexpected, very different. It was
And it
pretty
was well
cool.
executed.
It was well executed. But me, everything outside of that, me, you know, and I will say it, Legion sounds great. Legion sounds great. I will say that 100%. But last week's show was me.
I completely agree.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Quan, you want to hit it first? I'm sorry, my bad.
No, I'm just listening because I don't know. I don't think it's mediocre. I think I'm gonna be honest. After that Texas Southern situation, we really didn't watch band because I think we've watched it a lot. Maybe we're not desensitized. Maybe we're overstimulated by it. Because if we're gonna be honest, there's so much content that's being put out constantly where you can look at it all day. And even as a percussionist, there's nothing really that was like, oh man, like that was new. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no like I think everybody was like hyped about TSU because either for two reasons. Either you thought it was great or you thought it was like, oh, we doing some
Ignorant mess.
blackish, type stuff. So that was it. And I think it was different. And like I said, I didn't prefer it because I think if I would have liked it better if they would have did that and then had a killer fight like the rest of the show was fighting. I didn't like the way they marched off and all that, whatever. But outside of that, bro, like you can look at a 0 quarter, a 5th quarter, and the songs in between every week with the drum section battle. If they're recorded, with 9 out of 10 if they're recording that, you can look at the auxiliary, so forth and so on. I think maybe we're low key spoiled. I don't think that we accept the mediocrity. Man, we may low key be spoiled because we're at a time in the frame, bro. You can look at band 24 hours, bro. And what has been different? Still doing 8 to 5. Still playing rap daddies in the first in the 0. Ballads really ain't been battling. I mean, that's all I'm saying, bro. I'll leave it at that.
Portia?
I'm torn. I think some of what I've seen this year, even from the onset, has been kind of mediocre. Nobody as a whole has like wowed me.
I agree.
This year. And I don't know. I just expect more from us. I don't know. This is to me, the first real year after COVID. And I just feel like it's not giving what it's supposed to give or something. I don't know. I've been feeling this way. And I thought it was just me because I'm so freaking busy that, I'm missing the greatness somewhere. I try to on Sundays get some band clips in or, but I don't have a lot of time. So I thought maybe I was missing the greatness. So it seems like I haven't been missing. I mean, there have been some bright spots, but I don't know. I feel like last year was giving me more than this year. I just do. I don't know if it was more excitement coming off of COVID last year, but I'm not seeing top tier this year, at least not yet. I don't know if some kind of corner is going to be turned or something, but I haven't been wowed. I've seen some things that I was like, oh, that's dope, or this group is killing. But overall band programs, I'm just not seeing it yet. And I mean, the people we named, I won't give my full-fledged opinion of the Legion. I'm just very critical of where I am. I've always been that way, even when I was in the program.
I am too. I trust me. I didn't give everything, but
yeah, I just have really, really, really high expectations. So I mean, but I think that could be part of it too. Maybe I'm just not seeing the bright spots or seeing everybody's greatness, but I just have really, really high expectations. So it could be me.
And before we continue in this particular topic, I do want to say, shout out to Jackson State for their high school battle of the bands that they just had. A lot of schools that I hadn't heard. A lot of schools that I had not heard of. But definitely shout out to them. And I think it was a Circuit City Classic this past weekend too. So yeah, but I definitely feel like there's a little truth to what you were saying, Quan, in the sense that we may be overstimulated, but I also think that in the same breath, dog, you lying. Give me 1 second. Don't. I'm holding. I'm gonna hold my thought. Oh man. This just in. Rapper Coolio passed away at age 59.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I just gotten that message. So Coolio has passed away. So rest in peace to that brother and his family. Blessings to him and his family, and also, the legend that he is. We've got to honor him as a legend in the hip hop game. So yeah. Dang, that sucks. 59. Man, it's a lot of people passing away at young ages, bro.
And that's not even old. Like, what in the world?
Yeah,
that's terrible. Ugh.
But yeah, so we got to keep rolling. But I think we may be overstimulated in some type of way, and I am one of those people who truly believe that we cannot have so many daggone videos. I think, and this is no shot to any of the videographers out there, because y'all are doing y'all thing 100%. I mean, Bandhead Network, Showtime, Justin, like everybody's doing their thing, man. So 100%, like I will always say, keep grinding. At the same time, the zeal for wanting to see band was exciting when you could only either catch it live or on a VHS. But because it's so easily accessible, we may be desensitized to it. We may be looking for that next best thing. We may be looking for that thing that's like almost very similar to, if you go back to Drumline, the movie, when Morris Brown came out, the drum majors came out, and they had the fireworks going off in the back. Like I think that's kind of the level at this point where we're looking for. We're looking for something that's just gonna be like, this is freaking like out of this world. And I don't know if we're gonna do that now, because I think that because of the fact that there's this culture shift from field to stands. And I'm gonna be honest, there's only like a small percentage of bands who like really, 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 really focus on feel. I'm not talking about two-step drills and you just want to make sure your two-step drill is clean. I'm talking about, doing linear drills and making different shapes, not necessarily patterns in motion, but different formations, almost in the vein of what Ohio State is and has been doing. And there's only a small percentage of bands who are doing that. And I don't even think people care about those bands who are doing that. Like, I think the last show that I saw from FAM, I think it was this past weekend, was a really good show. It was a really good show. Nobody's talking about it though. Not one person is talking about it because nobody care about field no more. So it's just almost like for the percentage of people who are putting on these, shows that have some ingenuity to it, it's like, y'all cranking up or what? Because I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? So that's just, and I could be wrong, but that's just my personal feeling. Oh, I thought Quan, you were about to say something.
No, I mean, everything you said is right. I mean, it's about having a large book now. It's about, that type of thing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like in the early '80s, did they have like 0 quarters? Or it was like, because what I can recall from the tapes, it was like after the national anthem, it was like march. You play a march, I play a march.
Marches.
You play your chorale, you play your chorale, and then
game.
And then it was like a few songs in the stands here and there, a killer halftime show, sectional battles, and then if your team was winning, they'll play a few more hype songs, but that was really it. And then you went home.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm gonna go a little step further in the correcting if I'm wrong here. But even during the game, and I think now it's kind of circled back to that, but even during the game, it was like spirit songs. During the game is when PV and I don't know if they were playing it when you were there, but I think they were playing all blues. And they did that during the game. They wouldn't do that during, in the fifth. So
that was so after we played after we warm up, that was like a warm-up song, low key.
Okay.
Yeah, so we played.
So I don't, and honestly, the fifth really wasn't even that many songs. People weren't out there for like an hour. People were out there, you get maybe 4-5 songs, and they be your killer songs, your top songs, and they be songs, not Rap Daddy, Tuba Break, rest of the Rap Daddy. Real full length songs. You know what I'm saying? Intro, melody, bridge. So I think it's very interesting to see not only where band is going, per where it's come from, but, and I always say this, the lack of innovation that is happening at this point.
But why do you think that? Why do you feel like we have lack of innovation now?
Because we don't focus on drill. As I've said before, I think the lack of innovation is because of the fact that we don't focus on drill. Drill is where you are the most creative and most innovative. You're not innovative playing Rap Daddies in the stands, especially now when everybody's trying to recreate a specific sound. All the arrangers are trying to arrange the exact same way. So in what way is it really, really massively creative and innovative if you're all trying to do the exact same thing? Like, I was thinking about this the other day as I was watching the Legion, the old Legion tapes. The thing that frustrates me is the fact that everybody's talking about arrangers or how you'll watch a video and go look in the comments and they'll be like, man, this arrangement is trash. How do you know the arrangement is trash? By what standard do you say the arrangement is trash? If this arrangement is written in open fists, and this arrangement is written in open fists. How do you dictate one is more trash than the other? Like, that bothers me because they're both written in the exact same way in the exact same style, but because band A is your favorite band and band B isn't, then this arrangement was great and this arrangement was poop. Like, I don't know. I just have like these problems with all of these things, and one of the biggest issues that I always, to me, relates back to is the fact that nobody's putting innovation on the field. That's just my personal opinion.
I just wanted to say, do you feel like people are not creative because they're not studying it?
Yeah. But even still, that still relates to drill, right? Because like, if I'm a young kid in somebody's, I was told that now too, by the way, Crystal. I write weird. But anyway, but no, if I'm a young kid in somebody's high school and or university program now, right? And I'm listening and I'm seeing what the hype is per band. Do I really need to go spend hours studying something if band A, B, C, D, and the band that I'm in sounds all alike? I can just get on Finale and recreate what I hear. And honestly, and this is no shot to any director out there, so I don't want anybody to feel that way. But honestly, because now we're so welcoming of younger people getting on the podium, I just got to put it on Finale, put it in the podium, and if it crank, I'm good. What more do I really need to study? I don't need to go back and understand 20th century part writing. I don't really need to spend time on harmony. I don't really need to go back and look at a Beethoven score. I don't really need to go back and look at a Mozart score or anything like that. I just need to be able to write in the style of which I hear. And if I hear it and I can recreate it in Finale, I'm good.
Yeah,
but hold up, my bad. But if it was about drill, I actually got to go work on that and study that and spend time on that and have trial and error, mess up a couple of drills. You know what I'm saying? Like, that takes work, but that work ain't happening no more because most of these people, and once again, this is no fight to anybody, but a lot of people are just recreating drills they've already done. So I don't got to spend a lot of time. So,
I mean, the only thing I was about to say is, but that's what separates good from great. And I never forget when I was in college and I had to read that book, The Difference Between Good and Great. The difference from good and great is when you're willing to put in those hours, because what you invest in is what is going to be, produced out of it. I'm pretty sure when it comes to maintaining the culture and creativity of the Silkettes, Portia not only is a Silkette, but had to be like, okay, what can I do to take them from this level of consistency and continuity and then take them to this level? You just talked about, what it takes to drill. Now, this is blank, but again, what we talking about, drill paper right here. I paid out of my own pocket, class for drill writing. I studied under Dr. Zachary. I've called and messaged and had conversation with Gary Bryant, to be better. Now, if everybody just wants to, like I say, do a step 2 drill, my question is how you gonna do it different? Because in my opinion, Southern has mastered that. Anytime you see a step 2 drill in the Black community in the HBCU realm, a person gonna be like, well, Southern did that years ago. I don't care if you say you're going to march from the touchdown. I don't care if you're going to march from the sideline. I don't care if the drum major come out the corner. They didn't did it. They've done it. They're the masters of that particular style. But my question is, it's going to be a few band directors now, and I feel like I'm going to be one of them that is going to revitalize band pageantry in a different way. I just feel that way because I'm willing to study, like you say, 20th century harmony or a Mahler orchestration. my thing is, at the end of the day, everybody that was quote unquote called weird initially actually became legends. So I'll be weird, bro.
But as an arranger, I think for me, that is the one thing I stand on. Everything that was called weird became legend. Absolutely. I agree.
So,
I agree. All right. Oh, he looked like he on the phone. But let me bring him in anyway. I'm gonna put him on mute until he done. I think he done now. There you go.
I definitely ain't got on the phone. What's up, y'all?
What's up, big bro?
Man, hey, this shit. I mean, this stuff crazy. I have a lot of points, Luke, because you all over the place tonight. I'm gonna start with a girl, get her out the way. When I first saw the USC thing, I was like, I don't see the big deal. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I get it. She's black, first of all. Look at that first, she's black. When she started a space in her own space, and the first thing I was like, well, I'm gonna think on the other side and read some of the comments. She could have went to HBCU. Well, sometimes we need to realize that we don't accept it, but sometimes our HBCU might not have a major she had. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But then I was like, I'm a supporter. I reposted and everything else because I still support her. But I do see the other side, and it went to the Jennifer Hudson show where it hit home where I realized what some of the comments was talking about. Like, you mean to tell me all they did was post one video and it went viral, now they have national attention? And you have these teams like the girls at FAMU who've been trying to start a dance team or dance with the band for years, and we don't support them. I first seen that Jennifer Hudson show commercial at the Southern Heritage Classic where she was promoting to the people of Nashville and the HBCUs to support her show. Now, she brought a fifth gymnastic team up there, but I just want Jennifer Hudson to bring some HBCU teams on it now. Keep the same energy. That's all I ask. So I see both sides of it. I do. I truly do. I see both sides of it. But I feel like I like how a girl paid homage. Quan, she did pay homage to the HBCUs and where it came from. I feel like sometimes we just want more. Like, it could be like, well, now check out Tennessee State, check out Alcorn, check out these schemes. We're not the first ones to do it, but I do feel like, I mean, homegirl, she did her thing with it, but at the same time, we really can't fault her for a lot of the backlash that it's getting. You know what I'm saying? She only one that started a HBCU style team. No. Now, you was right. One of y'all said they're gonna put their team on the football field. Now they're gonna have their own section because it falls into the inclusion of there. They're gonna try to water it, which another thing is not her fault. So we can't really fault her per se. You know what I'm saying? We don't know their situation. We don't know what made her go to USC. It might have been the money. I just don't like how she's getting all the backlash of this one thing. When I like keeping the same energy. They got a chicken. I'm on in the HBCU band group. She started an HBCU team at San Diego State, and they danced with the basketball team and everything. Eastern Kentucky, right down the street from Kentucky State, they have an HBCU team too. Nobody has been saying nobody.
They do not need to be called an HBCU team because they know they're full HBCU.
They got a majorette team too. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of these teams. She just the one that just got started on it. So I see both sides of it. I just feel like she getting a lot of backlash that like she kind of don't deserve. She just wanted to start a space at her school. You know what I'm saying? And nothing wrong with that. But I do see what everybody's saying. It hit home when they was on that show. I was like, dang, all these teams been dancing for years and they get that kind of publicity. I always got to show out right now. I see both sides of it. I just don't like how it falls on her, but I'm a supporter regardless. Moving on. What I was saying, the big.
Yeah, stay on that. I don't want
we was like the y'all was like the bands are like we getting too much band or something like that. I like it's not entertaining right now. One last week was a lot of people bye week. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like who's playing each other. Got these money games, these bye weeks. The last big game was Texas Southern and Southern, and had a Circuit City Classic battle the band for the first time, and that was pretty dope. But I think this the week where like the third or fourth week, people still doing the same field shows. They're not gonna really switch them up to like homecoming or to their big game. So I'm gonna say I think we kind of like I wasn't asking for too much, but at the same time, this is that period in the season. Now we roll over to October 1st in these big games. I need to see some entertainment, so I could agree with that. Okay, Curtis Space. I just hope she take sit down with those. I just contact Beyonce. I know Miss D reached out to her, and I guess they're gonna work. And once Miss D get a hold to her, it's gonna be you had a choice but accept that. Whatever for real.
Let me before, Justin, before you go on, So I get what you're saying as far as the bye week and all that kind of stuff, right? But like for me, and this is just me personally, the energy started at the National Battle of the Bands for me, right? Because like field wise, because it's ultimately a field show, and then they have filler because they do the stand stuff. I was just like, man.
So you see now one good official from Norfolk. I like how y'all included Norfolk in y'all men too, because at first I thought that was Captain. But anyway, yeah. I didn't feel like, I don't know, Luke. I mean,
what you just said?
I was gonna let it go.
When y'all was saying it's me, and y'all was like Norfolk too, because at first I was like, I'm
gonna always keep it G.
Right. Well, cool. Well, we go with that. I was like, hey, I watched all of this portion.
I told you, I tell y'all all the time, I am not biased. I will be honest. I will be one.
Sometimes.
What you had to say, because you had called my name. What you say?
Oh, yeah, I like that the flag routine from the Hampton game. I wanted to tell you that. I was really feeling it. And you know what's crazy? I'm starting to look at y'all's style more. Even look at the videos that I recorded on last year. I really think, because I like arguing with you a lot. I like just disagreeing with you. You're just a bad guy. But you did good. So I can't, you back up without what you think. That's good. Y'all style is like very militant. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying, because I watching one show, I'm like, well, if you learn the technique in camp and you learn like how to do it, they're not really doing nothing too complex until I start paying attention. Yeah, for sure. When I start realizing how like on one of the routines, it was mirroring each other, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then the camera flashed to one of the guards in the back, and like I'm peeping a little, you know how y'all got trying to discern the technique with it, how he dropped it between both arms
and caught it behind his back.
And I'm like, oh, so now I'm feeling with this. Because what I'm doing is, I'm giving flag shine this season. I'm seeing how like, okay, they good at what they do, but what they do is complex. You know what I'm saying? And you can compare teams on being what they good at what they do, because you can't say that you come from a flag background and you didn't always do Norfolk style, so you can understand every single person. I'm a big fan of Kentucky State and we kick it butt, but you know, I seen it and I'm like, what's right? It's on point. It's just like it's fire. You know what I'm saying? You can't knock it because they executed flawlessly. You know what I'm saying? I like it. So I'll just give you the props. That shit dope as well, and I'm paying attention to them from here on out the whole season. You know what I'm saying? It's coming in North Carolina. So yeah. The last thing. It's real. Can you coach the Spartan guards too? Did they practice with too?
They got a coach. His name is Teddy. He doing a hell of a job with them. They look good this year. Them and the Silkettes come up with those routines together, so it complements. And that it is some good stuff going on out there. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. So
okay, I was wondering how do they know the same routine?
It's not exactly the same. They have twirls that complement our stuff, but whatever, if they don't do something similar to us, it complements, so it don't look like clothes thrown up in the air. Yeah, they come up, those section leaders get together and we, go out there together and work together so that it complements the music that the Legion is playing.
Gotcha. Speaking of, when y'all get a chance, I'm gonna post it probably tomorrow, Friday, one of these. I was at some of the games this week. Central High School from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Has to be arguably one of the best high school bands I've heard in a long time. I don't come from New Orleans.
Facts.
Yep.
The killer part to me, I'm looking for their dance team to come out. All they have is flags. They flags. I want you to watch the two portion. Their flags had 3 different flags. They were putting them down, rotating them, and the routines they was doing was it added so much color to the field show. I was like, dang, color. It's like 30 of them. I was like,
and when I said that before, you looked at me like I had 3 heads, but it's beautiful when it's done right, ain't it?
But maybe I come from we do flags. We don't do like this kind of flag. Come on, man. Sort of, yeah. It's different. It's big different. But I think our color guard could do some cooler stuff than a few people. But anyway, check them out. I'm gonna post a video tomorrow. Make sure I'll post. They are legit. Jackson State High School Battle of the Bands. When you walk in there, you should have understood why Jackson numbers are what they are. You should understand why they are the culture. And I'm eager to see when Southern throws there, if they throw high school battle of the bands. Long story short, all the big dog high schools that's around the country, it was there, and they had somebody on Jackson in this there. That's what I'm Southern this style. And it's crazy how it trickled down. That's that. So I want to see everybody. A lot of colleges should start throwing battle of the bands and inviting these schools because they wipe the floor with everybody. They wipe the floor with everybody. I'm being Dallas this weekend. Skyline, I want to see y'all. Last thing, when you say you don't agree with the media, a lot of media, Luke, I wholeheartedly feel your point. Big but I personally feel like it's not enough. This season so far, I ain't gonna lie. I've been going to like a lot of games I don't never go to because Kev would normally go to them. You know, shit back Kev. I've been trying to like hold it down for like the stuff that he'll go to. Cause I know people want to see this, but I'm still stuck. I'm mad that I missed the Norfolk and Norfolk and the classic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of schools that we're not seeing. So maybe I think the statement could be that we seeing the same schools and we're not seeing a lot of other people that could be putting products out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people, we seeing the same people, but not enough people. And I feel like it's not enough media to put that in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? The USC team, this HBCU team is getting just more credibility than the Albany States, than the North Carolina Centrals. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like it's not enough media in different places. Maybe too much in the main place, just not enough in places where it needs to be. And that actually sucks to me. So that's my only caveat I had to what you had to say about it's just too much. We saying the same thing. I feel like people need to start giving people exposure who don't have it. That's my only caveat.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I do think that other programs should be highlighted more than the norm. I think my only or my biggest argument with what I said was more or less just on the fact of, and I've said this before a long time ago, is that if I missed a Norfolk, well, I ain't gonna say Norfolk because I ain't know nothing about Norfolk back then. But when I was in high school, if I missed a Texas Southern show, I just missed it. I had to hear about it from somebody else. And when I finally was able to watch them, they were either doing the show that I had heard about or a completely different show. So for me, when I'm seeing them for the first time for the year, it's like, oh, this is dope. This is new to me. It's eye-catching, it's eye-popping. But it's different now because you could be at an event, Showtime can be at an event, and Showtime will go live. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching the event in real time. And then you'll probably post that same event up maybe an hour or so later. Well, not an hour.
A different view of it.
But I'm just saying, though, you know what I mean. What I'm saying is it's easily accessible, so I can watch it in real time and then turn around next week and watch them again. So by the time they get 4-5 weeks in, it's kind of like,
So I got a question. But if let's say every band, every team had his media team and they're posting their clips, because I'm liking Norfolk's media and I'm liking like Incast and people who got their own stuff. Technically, you can say the same thing because you can see it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody had their own team, you know what I'm saying, you'll be having the same issue because they're posting their own content. So I'm like, what's the difference between independent media posting it and cell phones posting it than people posting their own selves?
So one, there isn't a difference in what you're saying. However, this also goes back to what I was saying about the Tennessee State and the Norfolk thing, which I think to me is a gift and a curse. It's a curse because we don't see enough of Norfolk at all. But when we do see Norfolk, it's like, oh, shoot, this is pretty damn good. Because we hadn't seen them in X amount of, weeks. So when we finally do see them and they're doing something new and something different, it's eye-catching. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shoot, we gotta really pay attention to them. It's almost like Queen City, when Queen City was a thing before it came to National Battle of the Bands, right? When people saw Norfolk, it was like, whoa, they are like super dope. But everybody was hungry to see the next Norfolk thing. and you really didn't get it until you saw the National Battle of the Bands. So when they got to the National Battle of the Bands, it was like, oh, this is great. Now we ain't gonna see it again until the next big thing. But it just builds the momentum to see that program. I think
that's how Southern used to be. I feel it's like you hardly see him, but when you do see him, it's like wow. But in today's space, kind of sort of like if you don't post, people are like, do you have a program over there? You know what I'm saying? I feel like you gotta have some type of social media presence in this thing.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't have to. I just think that because I guess I'm coming from a fan perspective and a band director perspective too, right? Like as a band director, I just remember it being frustrating because we have to continuously try to come up with new things because we're always being recorded and people will get bored with the same thing every week.
Also, one can say
it used to be a thing as a director where I could run the same show for like 2-3 weeks. Because people ain't gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? If they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't.
No, you cheat the game.
That's not cheating.
That used to be, man.
No,
I ain't saying a show every 2 to 3 weeks.
As a director, that is it puts a lot of work on you as a director because you're always you get burnt out that way. You don't have time to truly create and spend time mapping out what you want to do. Like if you go look at my freshman year in Norfolk, 02, I think we did like 4 or 5 different drills, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing about those 4 or 5 different drills, we only recorded them once. That was put out in the masses. We had the A&T drill, Before I Let Go drill, the Star drill, and you only saw, and I'm only talking about 3 of them because I think we did the gospel drill that year too. But you only saw every single one of those drills once. But we performed those drills like 2 or 3 or 4 times, each one of them. Probably not the Star drill. That was the only one.
I don't know, Luca. Part of it is like almost like I get exactly what you're saying. It's like you didn't have to work as hard back then. But now it's just like artists and music. You know what I'm saying? Artists putting out albums every damn year. Sometimes,
and that's why they don't. That's why they don't have a legacy either. You don't have Michael Jackson's no more.
And they be trash.
Right. Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know. I see it, but and to that point, I don't know too many people who are doing a different fish every week. Some people are still doing the exact same way that y'all are doing. Like I'm just like I know people who still doing they show from either National Battle of the Bands or they just this past week was the first one that they transitioned to. It's the same thing. It just maybe it's just seen more, but media ain't going nowhere. Luke, I mean,
I know it's not going anywhere, but that doesn't mean I don't have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because here's the thing. Like you were talking about programs that have their own media team. So even if you look at A&T, right, with all the stuff that A&T does as far as audio, we're not gonna talk about that. But in production value, they're creative in what they do. But they're creative with what they do as far as a production standpoint of it, because typically you don't see the same drill from A&T, and on top of that, they will do some out of the box stuff every now and then that they'll record and they'll put out. Just random out of the box stuff that just
shoot the same fish show and show you different angles of it. They'll come out. Let's not act like these colleges not doing the same field show and changing. The Flash came out first, or the dancers might come out first, or just change.
Yeah, they may switch up 1 or 2 things. I'm not saying that they're not, but what I'm saying is, even in the 1 or 2 things that they're slightly switching up, it's still something different. They're giving you something, and like I said, they're giving you. Like I think the last show that they just did, which for me it was kind of annoying, but it was different. They did when they did the dance routine, they did like I think it was like 6 different views of their dance routine. So it was like the dancers, the full wide shot, like 2 or 3 close shots. And I thought it was dope. And they put it on one screen. It was different. Now for me, it was just a little too busy, but somebody might have liked it. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing something different that just makes it seem as though you're getting a different product. So I think that's for like even and I'll go back to Norfolk. I think one of the things that me and Rick was talking about when we were watching the show this past weekend was the fact that when I was in band, shoot, because I used to be the announcer for the band for a small time, and I used to be the videographer for the band too. So that but when you go into the press box, the press box ain't that high up, so you're not.
Exactly. I figured that
So
when I
that
see the
drone
ground.
is super dope. So then on top of that, that's how I figured out. Oh shoot, we got a new field. I didn't even realize that we had turf. I didn't know when we got turf. I didn't know we didn't have turf.
No, bro, how long you been having that turf portion? 3 years now. 3 years? Oh, I would say I seen it.
Yeah, I didn't have turf when I marched. So when I seen the drone go up, I looked at my wife. I was like, "Yo, is that different? We didn't. That looks different." And then she said, "Yeah, it looked different." And then I talked to Rick. I was like, "Rick, do we got turf now?" He's like, "Yeah, that's turf." I was like, "Oh shoot!" But I didn't know that until I saw a different angle. It's just giving me something different. I think that's what adds a little bit more to
4 years. And I think they got it in 19.
They've been in a minute now. I never knew y'all not had turf. So I mean, how much they're paying attention to it.
Look at here. It's been 20 years. My freshman year was 20 years ago, bro. So listen, they got turf. That's new to me. So they could have got it like 6 years ago. I would have never noticed until that time when I looked at it from the drone video. So me.
Yeah, I feel you, but I just feel like I wholeheartedly believe that I just feel like there's not enough people getting out there. Like I wrote the dude Morgan who do dancer critiques every week, and he got the dance teams hitting me up like, can you put our videos out so it could make the top 10 so it could get reviewed by these YouTubers and stuff. And I'm starting to see teams that I never seen before by a cell phone video getting noticed now. Them guys probably been good. Y'all just ain't never gave them a chance. You know what I'm saying? So that's like more people need to go to games that don't be accessible. I don't say accessible that people just not talking about. But I do understand from a videographer standpoint. Sometimes those videos only get 10 views. Who are they? And it sucks. But I don't know. I do feel you though, Luke. I just kind of disagree. The viewership or the media need to switch, or everybody just need to start. Another thing, everybody has cell phones nowadays. They do. To that point, I think people should start putting their programs out. You know what I'm saying? I just something is better than nothing. And the social medias in general, people have not to point about it. I can name a bunch, but you go on these social media, like for example, Lincoln did Circuit City Classic this weekend, right? Before then, when I go to a game, I go look up their social media because I know 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna post something on Instagram and it's gonna get reposted. Shayram just wrote me 10 minutes ago asking could they repost my video. It may go viral tomorrow, so I won't tag the school, the program. But when I went to their page, I'm like, they ain't post nothing since August or July. We in October now. You know what I'm saying? So I think people need to start taking the initiative to post something of their programs too as well, so they can get out there. But that's just my thing.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, you have to be with the time, right? Like that time is going to keep moving. You got to keep with the time. But I think that there's also a limit. Shout out to PV and their media team, because I remember, when we started that media team for real, like doing the road to the Cotton Bowl. When myself and Hayaza, when we put that together, that was a brainchild that came of us because we didn't want to just do the same thing over and over again, and we didn't want to just field show. So we were like, hey, we know that this weekend is going to be huge. Let's record a lot of stuff. Let's record what we're doing. Let's record B-roll. Let's do all of that. And then we'll put it together. And then we'll create, road to blah, blah, blah. So I think, and even what they're doing now, they have like these mic'd up episodes, these little small snippets where members of the band are mic'd up. I think that's necessary, right? It doesn't always have to be a field show. It doesn't always have to be what happens during the weekend. Just something to show the presence of the program. And so that I think that's what I'm saying, because I'm gonna agree with frat brother Rodney, and I'm also agree with Amos. Like like you said, hanging the drill weekly is partly why we get mediocre performances. We trying to do a changeover drill weekly, and Amos is like he would change his shows only for home games. I don't blame him either. If I'm taking on the road, I ain't changing the field show.
I agree with that. I mean, you ain't always got to change it. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Especially because if your home crowd, like National Battle of the Bands, nobody home crowd seen that drill. You know what I'm saying? You did it out. You know what I'm saying? You maybe the next week, and then if you got a home schedule, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you could change it up a little bit or just do something different. But I don't know. I just feel like even with I get it. You do see a lot of it, but I mean the times have changed too, Luke. You know what I'm saying? Like field shows are easy to teach, especially to you got hundreds of kids on the field. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's something that just coming along with the game. Now, yeah, ain't nobody about doing a different field show every week, but that book in the stands, that's questionable too because I see it firsthand with Southern. That's one thing people don't talk about with them. People they want to hear a different song every week or a different 3 to 4 songs every 5th quarter because they see somebody. You know what I'm saying? How logical is that? How fair is that to them? But since they're the Kings, I guess they can kind of go along with it. We don't want to hear that from y'all. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear what y'all will be capable of doing. And I know it's hard on the band directors. You know what I'm saying? So I see, but I can't act like I don't understand what time frame we're in the media space as well. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. But, I don't know. It's tough, Luke. Something you bring up to band directors or bring a band director to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Kind of.
All right. Well, as always, brother, I definitely appreciate you. I already know you're gonna be down here this weekend. I didn't. What?
Question. I looked at PV's schedule. Y'all do that every year?
I think they added a couple of more performances on, but for the most part, yeah. Because we used to come down. If I remember correctly, we would come down on Thursday morning, and I think we would do like 3 performances that day. Then on Friday we would get up. We did the news thing in the morning, and then we would do like 3 or 4 performances that day, or that day because we did Townview that night. So we would do like 2 or 3 performances, and then we would do Townview that night. And then there were a few days. There was a few times we did the Battle of the Bands that would happen Sunday morning, and then we would do the Cotton Bowl game. That day. And then since I've been gone, they added the Sunday performance, I think 2016, somewhere around there, 2016, 2017. So yeah, it's about accurate, but I think they added like maybe 2 or 3 more performances. So when we talk about and if you've heard me, or Maya or Quan talk about the Dallas tour, it's that serious. We would do 4, 5, 6 performances a day.
That thing, it looks like a itinerary for like a damn concert or something like that. I said, wait, all this in 2 days on top you have the game itself.
Yeah,
that's a lot. So I see why. So I mean, TV numbers the way they are. You know what I'm saying? That's really impressive. But I'm gonna be out there. I'm making it out the Saturday morning. I'm going to that Battle of the Bands early that morning. We got another battle that Sunday.
I was supposed to get the pass daddies. I was waiting for them because I had them sent to the crib, but they ain't show up yet. So I might not be out there.
I ain't got no pass yet either. I was, wondering. I don't know. I figured it out, but yeah.
Because if I ain't got the pass daddies, I'm good. I'll watch somebody's video for that one.
It's gonna be a lot of video out there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I like what he said in the press conference. Headband dirty man, okay.
Where Grambling?
No, PV. I just talked to him.
Dr. Zachary?
Dr. Zachary, yeah. He was like, it was so he said they had a press conference between him and Grambling.
Yeah.
That boy said, we come rain all on you. Yeah, and somebody said they don't have no rain in the forecast. He said, "Well, there's a storm in the forecast." I'm like, "Yeah, talk that. That's what I'm talking."
Yeah,
talk. Yeah,
I've heard Doc behind closed doors talk a lot of, but to see him do that you know, in that press conference, I was like, all right.
I said, wait a minute, hold on, I might need to come to this game for real. I never heard him trash talk like that. I said, dang, he was quick with it too. I said, oh, okay.
Hey, yeah.
That's his personality. He don't show that to the world, but that mouth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I said, Dak. I talked to him. He was in Indianapolis this weekend. The music group performed out there. He was like, just talking. He very precise on point and on time because they were running a little late. He was like, is it like this every year? I'm like, I think it's CPT. He was, eat it. I said, okay. I said, I see you this weekend. He said, I bet. But I seen that press conference. I was like, why was she trying to play him like that? You know what I'm saying? He came back so quick, and I said, dang. So I'm excited. I'm gonna see. This is my first time ever going to it for real. So,
well, hopefully the passes show up. If my passes show up by Friday, I got you. I give you mine. But if they don't,
yeah, I'm in there. Trust me, I'm in there one way or the other.
Yeah, I know you gonna make it. I know you gonna make it.
All right, man. We'll holler at y'all, man. Nice show.
All right, bro.
All right.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that he was talking about was you know, the stand presence. And I'm gonna say this, you know, when it comes to Southern, I mean, they call themselves a jukebox. So that's kind of one of the things that you kind of set yourself up for, right? Being in the Legion, and I'm not gonna say what it is like now because I don't know what it is now. We didn't focus on stands. We never did. If you go back and you look at that O2 video that I was watching, us and Morris Brown, our stands presence left much to be desired. But our field presence was impeccable. You weren't touching us on the field, but our stands presence, it was sometimes it was very questionable. And as a matter of fact, we didn't really even get that big of a stands presence till around the 07, 08, 09 time. You know, that never was Doc's thing. So, you know, I don't know. I think that whatever, and this goes back to what I'm always say, whatever your lane is, whatever it is, who you are and who you define yourself to be good at that. But when it comes to, you know, the recording and all that kind of stuff, I just think that there just has to be some creativity and, you know, innovation within your media team. I mean, even me being a part of the media team at Norfolk, that was my thing. I wanted to be creative and I wanted to be innovative. If anybody, you know, remembers any of the videos that we did at Norfolk, you know, that one where we did the battle with I think it was Virginia State, or it may have been Virginia State, when they did a Smooth Criminal, and we had a young guy, Ricky, come out and he did some Michael Jackson stuff. But on the video, you see some sparkles coming out of his feet. That was me. I was just like, man, let me just do something different, just to make, you know, things different and eye popping. You know, some of the A&T battle that I did, you know, the David and Goliath thing. I found the tallest dude in the band and the shortest dude in the band, and I put them together. And I said, here, I'm gonna record this, and I made something out of it, just to be different. So I think there is room for innovation, even from the videographer side, whether you have a personal videographer team or if you freelance. So I think it's just about innovation at the end of the day. All right, man, this has been a great episode. Quan clicked back in after he got his butter on both sides. And Maya is still on vacation. I mean, you know, you got that. No, you don't got the butter on both sides. You said you was good on that. Which I will say, I think somebody got butter on both sides and they said it wasn't all that cracked up. So you gassed it. But yeah, Maya's on vacation. She told me earlier today. She is out of the country, and so she was like, leave me alone. So that she didn't really say leave me alone, but it is what it is. Oh shoot, I see you down there. She done got her little headdress on. Look at her. This is my little buddy. We used to stay on her, and then, you know, one day the light bulb went off, and she said, you know what, Luke and Brown are right. And then she was like, let me go ahead and give me a nice little fade, daddy. And she put the little part in her head. I was like, oh, look at her. Look at, don't be making that face. Y'all don't even know who I'm talking about. Come on in here, girl. It's my buddy.
Why? You are so embarrassing.
Yeah, but you know, I love you, so you be all right.
You're very embarrassing. And for one, y'all did not encourage me to get a fade.
Yeah, we did.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we did.
No, you did not.
Just give us the props and so we can move on.
What props?
I'm not gonna fight with you on this. I know you're gonna tell me offline. You were right, Luke. Right.
No, you were not. You harassed me all the time about my hair.
We did not harass you.
Yes, y'all did. Y'all was the wig cap police.
Absolutely. We just said take off the hat. We used to tell you all the time you had beautiful hair and you had a beautiful face. We said take off the hat and stop putting the war paint on and show the beauty that you actually have. We used to say that all the time.
Not you calling makeup war paint.
The way people put it on. It's subtle. You put it on subtle.
I didn't come in here for all that.
I know. Come on. What you got for us?
Just to come say my piece about this whole HBCU situation, since you prompted me to come in earlier. So I can
that was earlier. It's too late now. Everybody ready to go to bed.
Listen, sir, I'm just gonna say my little 2 bits.
You good? Go ahead.
Because I literally just got off of work and it's like 8 o'clock. So that's why I wasn't able to come in. But no, seriously, the whole situation, a lot of people really DM'd me as soon as that came out. They was like, how do you feel about it? Is it getting on your nerves? Honestly, Portia gonna be a little mad at me because at first I was one of those people where it was like, okay, y'all are really blowing this out of proportion. Like, you started to get on my nerves about it. Because one, it was people who was literally talking about stuff and you do not know what you are talking about. Seriously, like people are just going off about the most randomest things. One, you have to look at it from several different like point of views. Everybody has their own like separate things. What if she couldn't attend HBCU? Like literally, that could literally be a reason. Like what if she like legitimately had a scholarship to USC and this was just her outlet to doing that? And like I said earlier, okay, a way to caveat that is if you wanted to start a majorette dance line, you could have done it outside of USC. That's how I see it. That's how you can avoid this whole thing. And then one, the mistake that she made was calling it an HBCU majorette team and it's at a PWI. Now that I did not agree with because you throwing the name around and it's literally not at an HBCU. So that is very like off base to me. So that would be an argument for me in regards to paying the right homage at the right time. So for her to then go onto the public platform, the Jennifer Hudson show, so on and so forth, she did pay her homage there, but then people are still like, okay, well, why didn't you highlight this other school who did this? Why didn't you highlight these other schools? And some people was even like, well, people are still getting highlighted. They just not going on the daytime shows. Like the Southern Dogs got the ESPNU situation that they're doing on that platform. So it's not technically saying that nobody is being highlighted, but I really feel like this is like clickbait because it's at a PWI. So that's why people are not like as hot about it because it's literally clickbait. Like Maya was saying last week, how are we going to keep this going if you want to bring this dance group to USC? Who's going to keep it going? You have Black sponsors. That's perfectly fine. You have Black women who are part of the team. But who's to say that this is not going to die down? Who's to say that this ain't just something that you're doing for the fun of it and that's it? Once you hit these barriers, then what you going to do? Like, who gonna fight for you in that regard? So, and it's just like gatekeeping. Everybody's concerned about gatekeeping. And it's kind of like, okay, but to me, I feel like that's a huge double standard. Because if you want to talk about gatekeeping, then talk about things that's outside of the dance, like majorette world as well. The Greek organizations. Are y'all gatekeeping those? That's my thing. With the band situation, with the drum majors, even with the majorettes. Are y'all gatekeeping those? Is it really reserved for just us? That's my thing. So the only thing that I see is the fact that she started it at a PWI. Like there's absolutely no African-American backing to that whatsoever. So I think that's the only reason why people are really in an uproar about it is because it's literally at a PWI. And you're trying to squeeze in this culture to something that wasn't necessarily meant for us in no regard. So
we're on the same page with that. And that's my biggest issue. If she had went out there to USC and decided I'm gonna start a dance team that models HBCU style in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Right.
We have those all around the country.
Right.
But
Exactly.
you popping it, dropping it, doing our thing with USC cross your chest, that's an issue for me. And then you calling it HBCU style. This is a whole PWI, child.
Exactly.
No.
And I think she did that because she probably felt like, okay, well, if we have our school name across our chest, that means we have the respect. I really think that's why she probably did it. If we get the school on board, then that means that everybody else gonna be on board with it. Y'all see what we did? We did this. So that means now we own. No, we're not. So I kind of think
I think that backfired because that ain't what I thought. I was like, what in the shucking and jiving is just...
I don't know. It's so many different angles to the situation. Like it goes so much deeper.
And I'm not even necessarily... I'm not really... I can't say I ain't tripping on her because it's kind of your idea, but I don't know. I'm not here for it, and that's just my personal opinion. It's dance teams all around the country doing all kinds of stuff, mocking HBCUs, but it's a community thing. I just don't try to force this where we weren't even wanted initially,
exactly,
and expect us to support it. I just can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then what you calling it? That was the cherry on top of that cake for me. I was like, what? No, call it something else. Call it something else. Please. Just call it something else.
It's definitely forced. For sure. So, and I'm pretty certain she ain't have like nobody to talk to her or guide her through that before she made that decision. So it was, if she's from Cali or West Coast, she didn't want to go all the way to Texas, she couldn't afford it. Yeah, for sure.
Got it. Everybody don't want to go to HBCU. I get that. I get that. But don't call it that and just form a community team. Just get you and those girls that you figured out that you wanted to do this with you and create a community team and call it whatever you want to.
Right. So I think it's just the HBCU part that's kind of throwing everybody all over with that situation. Just don't utilize the HBCU stamp if it's really not legitimately at an HBCU or for an HBCU. It's not relevant. So good try, but come again.
All right. See, now if you would have came in like an hour and a half earlier.
Dog, I just got off of work.
I'm just messing with you.
Calm down.
Yeah, never mind. I ain't gonna say nothing.
What was that?
I was just gonna say something about your Wells Waldo PJs, but we good. So yeah, but no, Phoenicia. For those of you guys who don't know, Phoenicia is a legacy Fox from Prairie View A&M University. By the time I got there, she had been done dancing. But I met Phoenicia in Beaumont. She ain't realize I met her. I don't even think she remember that. But no, great person, awesome person. She be in here every now and then. She out there in Arizona now, living her best life. I saw that little post you put up about living your best life and navigating. I'm so proud of you. Look at that. Just remember her. She was so young when I met her. Anyway, but yeah. So, but no, I appreciate you, Phoenicia, for giving that tidbit because, I am one who openly admits I appreciate everything about auxiliary and everything that it embodies, but I'm also one who will admit that I don't know everything about it. So, having insight from Portia and Maya and you coming on is always great because it gives me a different perspective, especially when we start talking about things like this. So, I definitely appreciate you, girl. Now you go ahead and get in the bed. Did that head wrap come like that, or did you do that? Because if you did do that, that is creative. How do you do that?
I tied this. I don't never buy
is that a sheet?
Headscarves pre-tied. It is.
Like it's really a sheet.
Yes, I take old bed sheets or I buy fabric and I make head wraps.
Wow. I was really serious because it's a lot of material up there. I really thought it was
That's a talent. I got one upstairs that I have not been able to tie in 3 years. Okay, it just ain't right. It ain't right, and I refuse to go
Put
out.
that on
It ain't
the
right.
Patreon. How to tie that? Put that
Oh,
on
right.
the Patreon.
Look, shoot, I pay for that. Because hey, look, I got it. That is correct. And look, at least Portia was like, look, I tried it, I just couldn't do it. She at least attempted. I didn't even know it was a thing. So the fact that you did it, somebody's paying for that.
I told myself I was gonna buy that thing, so like in between hairstyles, I can do this because I saw this lady and it was so cute. Kicked. I got talents. That ain't it. 3 years.
I promise. If you just learn one way of tying it, you'll be perfectly fine. Literally.
Struggle bus. I done watch YouTube videos and everything. It's something about me. I'm the problem.
I ain't learned to tie anything from YouTube videos. I just literally tie my headscarves and they just come out like this. I be tucking away in my headscarves and people just be like, oh my God, did that take you hours to do? No, like 5 minutes.
I know you lying. Okay, you should have seen me in here, girl. It's
Look at here. That's creative. That's why I brought it up. I literally was like, as you were talking, I'm gonna tell you, like 5 seconds of it went by because I didn't even pay attention because I was like, did she really rap that? That is, yeah. So, but anyway, no, I appreciate you, always, and I'm so proud of you. Just keep doing your thing, and whenever you want to come on, I'm gonna force you on, whether you want to be here or not. All right. See you. All right, man.
You see the comment from Crystal?
Which one?
That's why my grades can never get done.
Well, at least it's a good reason. At least you ain't sitting up, getting drunk or something, because that'd be terrible. So, at least you're getting some fun and info and everything else.
Would it
You say
be
what?
terrible? Would it actually be terrible?
On a Wednesday, yes, it would be very terrible. Now on a Friday, that'd be something different. If it was Friday,
oh, don't be putting them stipulations on me. Don't put them on me.
Speaking of which, we got to find a way to all of us get back together again. I'm gonna need another one of those. We got to do that at least once every month.
Absolute blast. Okay, that was the best time. We had a time.
We had a time. See,
You say once every month.
Once every month. I need a pick me up.
What?
Listen,
every month. Come on, that ain't real.
I'm gonna have to find me a sugar daddy or something because these frequent flying miles. Jesus, take the wheel.
If that's the case, I need to find one too. Because you tripping.
Hey, listen, y'all gotta understand. I got 3 young kids. One of which is 2.
You should have pulled out. You should have pulled out.
I need to pick me up. You say what?
Quan.
Did this man say?
I can't come to PV homecoming. I got a game.
Oh man, who y'all playing?
That doesn't matter, okay? That doesn't matter. This is my job.
She doesn't have a backup person. It's just her.
No, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm it.
It's just like I told
so
Quan.
What's the sexually the fuck?
No, Quan. Don't be trying to do that. Cause I said, hey, come on to Dallas. And you was like, no, I got this to do. So don't be trying to get her out of it. No, you did the same thing. Yeah, quiet. See, that's why his phone started going out.
No, you can't hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
These events paid though.
I told you we couldn't hear him.
Oh, no, we get not. Can you hear me now? Man, stop playing on my top. You can hear me?
Sure, we can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Oh man, no, I say these events are paid.
I know that. You told me that. That's not the point. She get paid to do her job.
Yeah, that is.
She get paid. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
don't let me mess up your l'argent. No, you good. You good.
But we got to do it again. I don't know. Whether we got. Is Justin coming back in the group with us? If we do this, we got to figure out when we doing this again.
Most definitely. Bayou Classic.
Well, I'll see you and Rick at homecoming, right?
Yeah. When is homecoming? 15, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Oh man, okay.
We ain't even got the ticket yet.
Oh my Lord Jesus.
Shit, we might be driving again.
And Justin will be at Norfolk homecoming. Well, he said he was coming.
Justin probably ain't gonna be there. He probably forgot.
Oh.
You can be at the Bayou Classic, can't you?
Yeah, but them tickets.
Oh yeah, you were talking about the tickets.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look again. Camille texted me. It did come down some because I think when we were in Houston, it was like 5 something. I ain't paying it.
Yeah.
Justin said he's still coming to homecoming. I'll try. I'm gonna see.
All right. Well,
I hang out with y'all. I spend lots and lots of money.
No. First of all, let's get this straight. Everybody who's watching right now, I have to say this because since she brought this up, I am frugal. I am super frugal, as a matter of fact. I choose banned from homecoming. What? Anyway, I'm super frugal. But when we got to Houston, because there's places I would have chose to go to in Houston that would have been a little less expensive. But oh no, Maya wanted to go to the top-notch bar. So because I didn't mind paying it, but when that bill came out, because I wasn't paying for me. I was paying for me and my wife. When that bill came out, though, I looked over at my wife.
Wasn't that bad, bro.
Bro, you didn't get what I got though, because I got
right.
Yeah.
Let me be quiet.
Yeah, you didn't get what I got, so I looked over at the wife. I was like, "Do you see this goddamn bills?" but
Let's run.
I wanted to.
Well, they saying you banned from homecoming because of what you said about
accent.
Accent, yeah.
I don't give a goddamn.
Ain't nobody worried about that.
Anyway, but no, so it wasn't. It was only expensive because of the places y'all chose. Because I would have took y'all to goddamn Timmy Chan's and got y'all an 8-piece wings and rice, and would have been just fine. It would have been good. So, hey,
and that's expensive now too, though. That's like $20 a box, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro. You tripping? Timmy Chan's is $20, $22 a box with the Kool-Aid. You tripping?
No, I ain't never get the Kool-Aid though. I just got the 6 wings and the rice. But that used to be like $8, man.
Yeah. It's an 8 line now. It's $22 with the Kool-Aid, and you gotta buy a tea cake though with it too. I ain't gonna much lie. You gotta get a tea cake.
You gotta buy a tea cake now?
No. I'm saying you would want to.
Oh no, I'm good. Listen. I just used to get the wings and the rice. That was it.
Yeah, I get
6
4 of them.
Yeah, it was 6 wings and rice, but it was $8 back in the day for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the flights. I'll see. I just need to learn how to not. When I'm out of town, I just like to be out of town.
Hey, but here's the thing though. Liquor is cheaper in Louisiana. We can go buy it at the Walmart.
That's true, because I got that bottle of Crown out of Walgreens when I was down in when we were down on Canal Street.
Yeah, so
I hit that bottle.
If I'm gonna go to a city, I'm gonna experience the city. I'm gonna drink everything. I want hand grenades. I want hurricanes. I want it all.
Yes,
and
that's $12. That's $12. That ain't nothing.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I've been in New Orleans like 3 times. So there's places I'm gonna want to eat, and I'm gonna spend some money. So I just need to talk to
as long as we go in there with that mindset, because I went to Houston thinking I was at home. So I'm like, I'm at home. I know the home spots I'm gonna get, and people started recommending this new mess. I'm old now.
I love Moxie's, okay? I can't.
Moxie's was all right though. Moxie's was cool. Moxie's was cool. I ain't saying that.
When we was acting a fool in there after that battle.
Hey, Moxie's was all right. Don't get me wrong. And they mixed them drinks pretty daggone good. I ain't gonna lie. But that bill. That bill.
Here's the thing.
And
Pay
then
for the
Here's the thing.
experience.
What,
they force the gratuity on you. They don't even ask, do you want to pay it? No, they go, that is on that bill. But it's
yeah,
a cool little
but one of the
Where is he at? That this service is disrespecting him like this.
Oh man. All right, we got to get out of here because his service is not doing him no justice today.
oh, that ain't nothing but the devil.
We ain't hear nothing what you said. Yeah, we ain't hear nothing you were saying. Man, yeah, thank you, Phoenicia. Moxie's is pricey. But let's go ahead and get on out of here, man. Oh yeah, I forgot how we got out of here because we've been talking about everything else. Quan, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, bro?
Nah, man. Homecoming season is upon us. Be careful. Truly enjoy yourself. PV homecoming is about to be epic. After the 2-year hiatus, the greatest homecoming on earth is about to make a return. So I'm excited.
And speaking of which, it has been a long time since I've been to a PV homecoming.
Please make sure you're there, bro.
I probably won't come to this one either.
What the hell, bro? Why?
I don't know, man. I when is it?
It's October 29th. I'm getting that early Saturday morning, I'm sure. So swing through. We're gonna be there with the fam. You know.
I'm about to say if your sister if my sister's there, then I'll probably end up being because my wife will
everybody gonna be there, bro. So,
well, I know everybody gonna be there, but I'm just saying.
That's the day we play. We play Howard that day.
You can skip that game. Nobody cares. Like it's Howard. Do you play Howard at Howard?
No, it's at Norfolk.
Skip that. Oh my gosh. The Silks will be fine without you. Trust me. Even if they mess up, they will still be better than Howard. I'm just saying. Was I wrong for saying that? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I just wanted to see Portia. That's it. Okay, I apologize. Howard, I didn't mean that. What are they called? Flashy? Is that what? No, they're
I don't know that I know the name of their flag section.
I forgot the name of their flag section. But sorry, I didn't mean it. Totally. Okay.
They beat us a bunch of them. I think they got like 24 of them.
It's more than a band. I ain't even been drinking today. Okay, it's getting late. But no, I just said that because I wanted to see Portia. Okay. That was no disrespect to Howard. It wasn't. We gotta hurry up. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
No, this was a good one. I really wanted to be on here for this. I'm sorry I missed last week. Last week was a crazy week. But I really wanted to be on here for this. I think that you should pursue whatever your passion is. But just be mindful when carving lanes. Is the only thing that I can say. Find your niche, but just do so with purpose and intent. I'm really excited for homecoming this year. I wish I could go to more homecomings. Before I was on staff, I went to 5 homecomings a year. I just it just feels like a family reunion, a cookout, all in one. It's so much going on. And I, even with my responsibilities after they take that bow at the end of that, I hit the road and go be a regular person, enjoy homecoming. So I hope everybody who can get to a homecoming, get to one, have fun, enjoy yourself, and live life, man, because people are leaving here left and right. So enjoy the moments that you can.
Absolutely. And some of the things I want to say real quick, don't forget that the US bands performances are coming up soon. They're all in October except for one. So just make sure that you check those out. I'll make sure to run the commercial before the end of the show. I actually did it at the beginning of the show as well. But check those out if you want to be a part of it. If you have a band program that you want to participate, you can go to usbands.com and get the information on that. Then also, I do agree, homecoming definitely is upon us. And I guess I've been inadvertently invited to PV's homecoming, back to PV's homecoming, because it's been a very long time since I've been to a Prairie View homecoming. So I don't know. I might make an appearance out there. Norfolk State's homecoming. All I'm gonna definitely say is just be safe with whatever it is that you do. Drink responsibly, wrap everything up. Please wrap everything up. You don't want no illegitimate kids coming out of those situations. Trust me, that's not what you want, or anything else coming out of that. All right. Also, please make sure you take care of yourself. You know, COVID is still a thing. All right. Let's not act like it doesn't exist. It does exist, and it does suck when you get it. So just take care of yourselves. Also, please make sure that you guys stop by the store, www.realtalkthattalk.com. You can also pick up the merchandise there. Use the code HBCU band to get 30% off your purchase. Also, please make sure you check out the Patreon. We got some good things in there, man. I have nothing else. This has been a super, super dope episode. Please make sure you click the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on your notifications. If you go back and watch this episode, you are free to comment as much as you want. And also you can click that like button in. All right. Once again, I got nothing else, man. You guys have a great time, great day, great night. Portia's about to go get something to eat because she ain't ate nothing. See y'all later.